Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's been a while since we last talked. So, you guys probably wondering what's going on with this video and what's been going on in our lives. Well, to start things off, I'm unfortunate to say that Andrew, also known as Lenny Naughty, is no longer my co-host for the Stuffface podcast, as the Stuffface podcast is returning. Simply put, it's because he just doesn't want to do content anymore, and that he's too busy with his life in order for him to really keep up with the Stuffface podcast episodes. Not only that, but he just felt out of passion for it, and as a result, we just decided to go our separate ways and not focus on content anymore. I mainly focus on my content. He just really focuses on his life and his jobs and stuff like that. But I'm here to say, thankfully, that the new Stuffface podcast is here with a new cast of characters that are coming in later in the year, later within the year or something like that. As I try to get the other members to, either make YouTube videos with me or do podcast episodes with me. And the first episode of the new podcast is essentially with a new member, also known as JustaCoffeeShopMoths, that will be one of the main new co-hosts of the podcast as a whole. So let me just say, first and foremost, that the Intro to Horror series is going to be making a return sometime soon, as long as other Let's Play series and maybe some one-off gaming series that we will do as well. But mostly, the fan favorite Intro to Horror will return with brand new episodes coming in the short forefront. Without Andrew, of course, as like I said before, he does not want to do content anymore, and I have tried to convince him, but he doesn't want to, essentially. So don't worry, the Surface Podcast has not changed whatsoever, even though we have new members and some people who are willing to fill the hole that Andrew has left. So yeah, thank you guys so much for enjoying the video. Enjoyed the first episode of Surface Podcast, of the new Surface Podcast, if you will. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone. At this point.
At some point, I had just decided to stop using an overlay for streams.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I just want everything to be seen, but I can't do that with an overlay.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
honestly, I think like the only way I actually use overlays on stream is for like starting soon, ending.
Yeah.
I never use like an actual overlay for like any gaming stuff. Like I see like a bunch of like ones where it's just like like a full design covering the entire screen. One section is for gameplay and another is for chat. And it's just, why have that when you could just have everything open, not have a nice design? And don't get me wrong, I would like a nice design, but it's too constricting for me, and I'd rather just have full gameplay out there and just have chat like melds in with the actual video.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. So like the thing that I very much so plan on doing if I ever use a gaming overlay is not even like a complete overlay. It's just like a thing wrapping around it,
Yeah.
like a border, like a cool border.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Because I think that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love borders, dude.
Border Patrol.
Yeah. Oh, what?
The Mirko statue that I got from Amazon. The stand is really shitty. It's really bad. You can see like wobbles all. Anyways, it's so fucking hard to clip in too. You won't notice it will clip in until it does, and then like in the way you put it on the stand itself was like a fucking shit. It felt the base fell off again. Like, look at this. It goes right in the ass.
Right in the ass.
Yeah, I it's such an unstable thing. But for $20, like, what can I expect?
Yeah.
I think
it's actually funny because like I have like currently I have three like figurines, including like obviously like the action things, including the one you gave me. But I have all of them are from Demon Slayer, by the way.
Yeah,
only 3 ones.
Yeah,
I have Enmu, Muchiro, and Tanjiro.
Yeah,
and Tanjiro is ginormous. Like
this
dude, he's like obscenely ginormous.
Yeah,
I have no idea why.
I think I've also shown off my pop figure and my amiibo collection. I stopped collecting pop figures. I think after Charmander, I just fucking gave up.
Yeah,
I didn't want to bother.
I haven't collected it in a while.
Yeah,
but like, here's the thing: I have characters from Marvel I really want to collect because like them are my favorite, and I'm like, wow, I would really like a thing of Web Slinger because Web Slinger is a really fucking badass. I love him. Right? I love the dude, and like I even saw the artist who had created him was like, yeah, here's his face. And we're like, wow, he looks like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't matter who the fuck he looks like. He's attractive, and I love him. It was
Okay.
actually based off of Pedro Pascal. So
Of course.
yeah, and like a
Oh,
little bit, and it wasn't based, but like inspired by like it.
yeah.
And I was like, I love him.
Oh, yeah.
Not even because of like his face. I just love his fucking concept. Like a fucking like cowboy, a fucking
Oh,
cowboy Spider-Man.
oh, yeah. Oh, they was
Like,
awesome. I did see Across the Spider-Verse. I think I also mentioned that in the chat.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna be honest. It's just
It's
TikTok spoils it.
it's really good.
I really wanted to see it.
Honestly, I can't really go into many spoilers, but I will say it's a good movie. I think I posted a tweet about asking Twitter base if they think Miguel or Miles is in the right for their ideologies, and to be honest with you, at that point, it's just like I don't really care. I just want to ask this question to see what people think, and then
all right. Do you want to know my opinion on this?
what?
All right. So both the way that they I am very much so I love Miguel as a character. He is very interesting. I love his design.
Yes.
He's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
The way he had done things is incredibly wrong.
I understand.
Not incredibly,
Yeah.
but more by that I mean not what he was doing. I mean the way he had done it is not the best way to do it.
I understand why he did it.
I understand. Yeah, I know why he did it. He wants to stop universes from destroying.
Yeah.
But he had gone about it so terrible.
And then he thinks he has the right to get pissed at Miles, even though I feel like in Miles' defense, I would probably be in that exact same position.
Exactly.
But I think we can all agree, every Spider-Man fan, whether you're on Miguel or Miles' side, we can all agree that Hobie is a great Spider-Man.
Fucking awesome. I love Hobie.
Oh, Hobie's pretty good. I think there was also I've heard that there are also audio issues when at like the first few screenings of Across the Spider-Verse, because I remember there was a lot of complaints about Hobie's voice actor because of the audio problems, you could barely hear that motherfucker because he had such a thick British accent.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the more of the point, like where it's someone because they have alternative versions of it.
Yeah.
There's one where I forgot her fucking name. You know the hologram motherfucker?
Yeah.
Layla?
I think it's Layla.
Yeah, Layla went to go fist bump Miguel. And then there's another one where she takes a selfie with him.
Yeah, I don't remember which version that I saw. I will say my biggest criticism of the Spider-Verse, of Across the Spider-Verse, is that it's a pretty lengthy movie. I think clocking in at around 2 hours and 19 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty lengthy.
But with how much length it really has, for how long it is, it pretty much gives us nothing. I understand it introduces us to the Spider-Verse, it introduces us to all the Spider-Men, and gave us that amazing Childish Gambino cameo, which, by the way, one of my favorite artists. But for a 2-hour long movie, I expected a lot more.
That's understandable.
I expected a lot more Spider-Man, ironically, from Miles than realistically. I just didn't. I was interested in the introduction of the Spider-Verse, but I think the biggest problem was that there weren't many callbacks from Into the Spider-Verse that I wanted. I mean, obviously Penny Parker is in that one scene, and good for her. But Noir didn't make his reappearance.
He actually did, like at the very fucking end, like.
Yeah, everyone did, yes, but I'm talking about like throughout the movie he wasn't there, and this is another big problem that I'm fearing for the third movie. It's that Nicolas Cage, who did voice Noir in Into the Spider-Verse, won't reprise his role. Sony has not.
Here's the thing.
Sony hasn't asked him yet.
They have not contacted him.
I
understand why, though. Not for the character, but I understand why he was not really present in the Spider Society, as it contradicts who he is as a character.
Yeah.
He believes that if someone is doing something wrong, it is the right of people to take down that system.
Yeah,
you know what, Miguel, if he was, Miguel would most likely not want him inside the Spider Society.
Yeah.
Because of how he is. I know why. And it's the only reason why Hobie joined was to protect his friends.
Yeah.
The people he cares about.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. And the moment Miles was being chased, he was like, I quit.
Yeah.
And just fucking left. And I was like,
yeah.
About him.
But honestly, I think one of my biggest contradictions I have with Across the Spider-Verse is that if you really like take back and realize everything that happens in Across the Spider-Verse technically wasn't Miles' fault. It was his Doc Ock that pretty much caused everything, but she gets almost no punishment. I think
she's dead.
I think so, but there was no mention of her doing what she did.
Yeah.
It was almost all the blame was put on Miles, which I think is complete horseshit.
I mean, it's not even Miles' fault.
Yeah, it was never his fault.
Not only that, it wasn't even his fault that the anomaly happened.
Yeah.
It was fucking the Spot.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, that dude, he caused the spider to go from the different universe into Miles' universe.
Yeah.
He isn't even the main cause. My dude was just fucking living his best life.
Yeah.
He was just...
I did also enjoy, going from deviating from the plot a little bit, I did enjoy the multiple Spider-Man cameos that we saw. Insomniac Spider-Man was there, Spectacular Spider-Man was there. They were all great cameos, I will say. I think the one that I did like the more was the small little dialogue Insomniac Spider-Man did, where they were pointing out like the video game Rhino or something like that, and then like video game guy, another video game guy. It was just like, are you talking to me? Which was pretty fucking cool. It was really cool.
I loved Sun Spider.
Yeah.
I loved Sun Spider. I loved how they had done her.
Yeah.
She is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be talking about Sun Spider because I really fucking love her.
Yeah.
As a character.
Oh, and also let me pick this up real quick. I'm surprised I didn't see the new Spider-Man that was introduced. The new gay Spider-Man that was recently introduced. I'm surprised I didn't see him in the movie. But we got Spider Plush. We got Spider Plush.
We got Spider Plush and Lego.
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Miguel was me writing him the entire movie. That's all I'm saying. I didn't see the hype.
I'm gonna be honest. I just think the animations with the Legos is really cool, especially saying how it was made, and apparently it was made by a 14-year-old.
16-year-old, actually.
16-year-old.
And honestly, it was fucking...
Really fucking cool.
It's really impressive for a 16-year-old. He fucking nailed that shit. Remember, I take into account that it took years. It took years for the Lego Movie to do their shit. It was made like professionals. And a 16-year-old managed to do that level of quality for just a few seconds scene. That's fucking great.
Not only that, but they also had the reason why they had recruited him was because he had actually
he recreated I think he recreated it either into the Spider-Verse trailer or across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, he recreated it all in Lego, which I'm honestly happy for the kid, man.
I was like, the moment I saw that, I was like, what? That's fucking
cool. He's gonna have one hell of a resume, I will say.
He just worked on this fucking into Across the Spider-Verse.
That's gonna be one hell of a resume. I don't see any film studio ever not taking him for like animation.
Yeah, like I imagine.
Yeah.
They would, because of like how professional it looked. It was fucking great.
I also was very sad. I understand why there weren't much of this character, but I am very ashamed that they didn't add more Miles Morales from other universes. Because remember, the Miles that we saw in the movie isn't just the only one, but it does suck that we don't see anyone else. Because remember, Insomniac had one, Miles Morales, Miles fucking Morales. I'm gonna forget.
Miles Morales.
They had it, but
Peter Porker's universe.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Like one scene,
one panel,
panel,
like 2 panels, and all of a sudden, mega hit. He didn't even say anything. He was just like he was just
kind of there.
He was just sliding off the window, and then he's just gone.
He's just kind of gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the I don't know.
Yeah, it was adorable though. I will not lie.
I did like play the Insomniac Miles game. It was
I also did play it. I understand the criticisms of it should have been DLC. I understand why people are saying that because as a story, it didn't really feel anything. And also the gadgets that they use, I did not enjoy. Honestly, I just feel like it should have just been DLC. I'm glad it isn't because it gives the opportunity for Miles to shine. But at the same time, with how much content we're getting, it should have been like $15 or something for like Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah. Although I'm gonna be honest, I really did enjoy the game. I thought it looked really fucking cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wished it had like more of a longer story, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I wish it did too. I wish it had like that moment where people realize Insomniac Miles is just as powerful as Peter Parker. Because remember, in Spider-Man PS4, there was a moment where Peter Parker was beaten down by the Sinister Six. Like I think like on top of the prison and stuff like that, with rain pouring down on him. And then he still fucking got up, which it never happened to Miles throughout the entire story.
Yeah.
Which does suck. And also the villain that was introduced in the DLC in the game was also really underwhelming.
I think it was mostly because the villain wasn't entirely like really villainous in general.
I think the problem with this villain is that this villain almost had problems with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier villain, where they try to like humanize her in some way, even though it's clearly she's a fucking terrorist.
Yeah,
I understand why they give her motives, but at the same time, like, don't humanize a fucking terrorist.
I know. I was really disappointed by like how human they made her.
Yeah,
like obviously she is human, but you know, like.
She also did cause a fucking bridge to explode.
Exactly. She legitimately caused so much fucking shit to happen. She blew up a fucking bridge.
I get it. The Roxxon shit. It's like, I don't care. Like, they didn't humanize the CEO of Roxxon when he was making this appearance, but all of a sudden we're humanizing a terrorist. That's fucking great. I just feel like the relationship between Miles and the villain, while good, I did feel sympathy for her. I just don't think she was that much of a compelling villain for me to actually care.
Yeah, I think that was one of the main problems, was that she was just kind of.
She was ironically, she became villain of the week at that point. I mean, she's no longer villain of the week because, you know,
she died.
Yeah, spoiler alert, but she's fucking dead. I just wish, and I also do wish there was more like end game content besides the challenges that they have you do. Which, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy some of the challenges, like Uncle Aaron's, finding the sound for the sample sound mini games and stuff like that. Right, some of them were a pain in the ass, but I did enjoy some of the end game content. But when you're relegating it to just challenges that you don't have to do.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? It also just sucks that Miles never got that. Spider-Man Miles Morales did not get DLC. I think the game should have gotten DLC if you want to justify the. No, okay. For $40, I don't think it's a good deal for $40. For the $70, I believe, the $60 to $70 price tag that they gave for like the deluxe edition, which came with Spider-Man PS4 Remastered, I think is a lot more of a solid deal. But for the $40 that we're asking for the base game, not at all. For how much content we got, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. But then again, like we did get it when it released.
Yeah.
So I've had it for a while. I'm gonna be honest. I played it and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah. And I was like, I think like a day in, and I'm like, I'm almost fucking finished, and I barely spent I've spent an hour on this fucking game, and I'm almost finished.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like went back to Spider-Man, and like the Spider-Man because I was like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
can remake my own save. Like I can do another save and
Yeah.
do a longer story
Oh
that's
yeah.
like very compelling. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is my life.
Yeah.
This is
I
who I am.
yeah.
Also, we like my stepbrother. He bought the DLCs. I
Yeah.
believe, like he got the DLCs for it. Like, or I think Nathan did.
Yeah.
Nathan or Gregory did.
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn. Like, I don't remember. Like, the fucking girl with white hair for the bank.
Felicia.
Yeah, Felicia.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Kind of hot.
I haven't finished all the DLC for
I
Spider-Man
have not
PS4.
either.
I think I finished the first DLC, but I didn't finish the other 2 or 3 that was available. And also, I just like to say that I'm really surprised that there was no like more content for Spider-Man Miles Morales because of Across the Spider-Verse. I'm surprised there was no update, which
I'm surprised too.
which does suck because it solidifies the point that this game should not exist as a separate package.
Yeah, because it's underwhelming. It's not kind. It is underwhelming.
It is underwhelming. It's a great game.
And
don't get us wrong.
Great game.
But
I
it's
really
just
love it.
for how much it costs, and not only that, for being a launch title for the PS5, I honestly say it's just too underwhelming for me to even care.
It is very
because remember this game was a launch title, or if it wasn't, it was a release relatively close to the PS5's launch, and for the games that we got for the launch. I mean, what else were you gonna play? Obviously, you were gonna play Miles Morales, but for the $40 price tag is hefty for the content you get. But luckily, if you were wise and got the deluxe edition, which does came with Spider-Man PS4 and all the content that it had, then for $60, sure. But for $40, would not recommend.
I would not recommend at all. I love the game a lot.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game. I did love the snowy Christmas atmosphere that it did have, but I just wish it had more.
I'm gonna be honest. It was very, very just underwhelming. It was very disappointing because it had such good fucking potential.
It had so much potential. Not only that, but the suits were also extremely disappointing. The suit wardrobe that was chosen for Miles, I understand Miles in comparison to Peter isn't given that much, but remember, Peter didn't just get all the suits from like the Sam Raimi trilogy, the Garfield duology, Tom Holland's trilogy. He has Miguel O'Hara's suit. Like he has the Spider-Man 2099 suit, which isn't even Parker.
Yes, it isn't even fucking. It's not even the same.
Like most of the suits that were in Spider-Man PS4 are Peter's, right? Like remember, the Fantastic Four Bagman suit was Peter, but the other suits, I don't understand why they're Peter's when it's not even Peter. Like Miguel's 2099 suit is in the game, but it isn't Peter. But when Miles has his own game, you give him jack shit. Why give Peter so much attention with suits that he doesn't even own, but with Miles you give him nothing at all? I at the very least want all the suits from PS4 to be in this game, but for some reason the wardrobe is lacking. There's only one that I would consider to be fantastic, and that's the Into the Spider-Verse suit.
Yeah,
it was incredible, but for some fucking reason they don't give you as many suits. It's annoying.
They do not.
I expect Class A+ suits in Spider-Man 2. That's all I'm saying. I expect those suits to be used by both Peter and Miles. I do not want to hear excuses.
I do not want to hear any, because Miles deserves the same amount of fucking love. Not only that, you want to know who's been mentioning all the other Miles more? The Phantom, the fans. Like I remember a TikTok I was watching. It was like Miguel is like, get Miles, and they were like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, well, how many fucking miles
Yeah.
do we have in this goddamn place?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's true.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking miles. Where were they?
Yeah.
Were they like on a paid
But
vacation?
by the way, so speaking about Miles Morales, there was a very this happened like months ago. I think almost a year ago. But there was a very controversial comic that released for Miles. It was part of the What If series, the What If comic runs of like, what if this character became this character or something like that, right? A lot of people know it because of the Disney Plus show What If, which I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It was okay. I didn't. I mean, did you really expect much? No, but did I expect more? Totally. I think
I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect anything from the I didn't even watch it.
The only 2 episodes that I really do recommend is the one where Doctor Strange loses his soul instead of his hands. Because remember, Doctor Strange, how the character became Doctor Strange is because he lost his ability to use his hands, which as a surgeon should know. And then he learns the ways of the sorcerer and then becomes Doctor Strange. But in the What If story, Doctor Strange is in a car crash, but doesn't lose his ability to use his hands, but he still becomes Sorcerer Supreme, but then constantly uses the time stone to keep on trying to prevent his lover's death, and then became evil Doctor Strange that we saw in Multiverse of Madness. That was a really great episode. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Marvel Zombies.
That looks good.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Marvel Zombies. That's all I fucking enjoyed.
Yeah. I remember watching like into the Doctor Strange like
Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this is really fucking good. But then I looked at Wanda, and every time I see her, I just think about how whitewashed she is.
Yeah.
It's just like
I honestly forgot she was Russian.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, she's like, if I remember correctly, she's like Jewish and
that's
Romani.
Right. That's
she's
right.
Jewish and Romani.
Yeah.
Hell, you want to know something stupid? You want to know the Pietro?
Oh, Pietro Maximoff. Oh my fucking god, they did him so fucking dirty. I remember
that guy was like, I believe the actor was at least somewhat Romani, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they killed him. And then they left the
I also
one of them,
yeah.
And then they whitewashed him in X-Men.
Yeah.
To create Peter.
Okay. To be fair, the character of Pietro from the Marvel Cinematic Universe came after the one that we saw for Fox's X-Men. So give them some credit there. Give us a little bit of leniency. Because I understand your perspective as to why you will complain about X-Men, but remember, it was completely separate. So give them a little bit of slack.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I just think it's like kind of I just felt like mentioning it.
Yeah, but honestly,
very much so
I remember.
But I'm gonna be honest. Oh, continue.
I remember all the hype when Quicksilver, like the younger Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, came into Wanda, and then now looking it through your perspective, it would have been so fucking weird trying to add X-Men Peter into the MCU, which these two characters are nothing fucking alike.
Yeah.
Not at all. It would have been so fucking weird. So I guess that's why they did that. Gotcha. It's just some random fucking guy.
Yeah.
It's.
I think like that point I was like, what the fuck is happening, bro?
It made really everyone realize that the people who are working on the MCU have no fucking idea what to do.
They're like fucking lost.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. Here's what I find really, really stupid about it. All right.
Yeah.
So, I really like how they had done Peter like Maximoff as a character. I am not bashing him. He is a fucking grade A character.
I also enjoy. He's not grade A. Really Let's not go that far.
Grade A,
but he's a pretty good character.
Honest,
I did like him.
Wasn't the best.
I did like.
I just think he's a lot more better than some of the other characters that we had in there, especially that one Phoenix chick. I felt I was just like
Jean Grey.
I hated her. I didn't have a reason. I just hated the way she spoke. She was like, "Watch where you're going."
Oh yeah.
Oh, he has fucking bandages over his eyes, you stupid slut. See, watch where you're going.
Oh my fucking god!
With a fucking blindfold, like, yeah, bro, yeah, yeah. That's like saying, "Watch where you're going." To a blind person. Yeah, watch where you're going.
I like how we completely deviated from the topic that I was going to talk about. Which was so the original topic was about like really controversial what if comic.
Yeah, okay, I found out about that.
Miles, so in the comic run, Miles Morales becomes worthy of Mjolnir and becomes Thor. Oh my fucking god, was it the most racist shit I've ever seen in my fucking entire life. It was so fucking bad, dude. You don't understand. No. You do not understand what they fucking did to my boy. They had graffiti on his hammer. They had, like, oh my. Hold on. Let me look up. Where the fuck's my phone? I need to look. Twitter had a fucking meltdown for that shit. It was so funny. This is like, it was some really racial stereotype type shit. I can't find my phone, but they were just, oh man, it was really bad. It was so garbage. Let me see if I can find it.
So good. That's my fucking god.
That's
I don't even know why I would start. You mentioned Doctor Strange, and then I started to talk about it, and then I mentioned Wanda, and then I started to talk about Pietro and then Peter, and then now I'm talking about Peter because he's really cool.
Yeah, okay, here it is. Here's a line. Here's a line. Mjolnir, by Odin's fade, I command you, shield this lost son from Freya from your might as your grace flows through him. From Odin's fucking fade, that's so bad. Some of the worst writing I've heard. God, it's so bad. Like, there's graffiti on the hammer. He's wearing fucking Jordans. And then when he first grabs the hammer, guess what he says?
What?
Hammer time. Oh, one of the worst. It's one of the worst shit I've fucking seen. And they gave him like a really bad fucking design too. It has like no. Oh man, let me send it to you. Oh man, it was so shit. It was like, think of Thor's armor, right?
Yeah, Thor.
But instead of like the usual helmet that Thor wears on Winged Helmet, he has. I'm just gonna show it to you because I can't take it. Like, ugh. Like, hold on, let me see. I'll probably just skip this portion of the recording because, you know, you feel like a lot of shit on your fucking. Just look at the hammer and just look at the design. It's so bad. He's wearing.
That's terrible.
They got a lot of shit for it, obviously. I think the writer who was behind it, I don't think he ended up getting fired. I think he's still there. I don't know, and honestly, when I first saw that shit on Twitter, I was like, oh no. I think I saw hashtag Miles Morales, and I was like, okay, what's happening? Clicked on that shit, saw that first fucking thing, it's like, God fucking damn it. Why? I thought we were making good progress.
I know. Here's the thing. All right.
Yeah.
So I remember I was like deep into the Minecraft, community.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one thing that happened with, the Twitch streamer Wilbur Sut,
Oh yeah.
And in Tubbo, where Wilbur took the color yellow, and that's what, when Among Us was popular in like 2020. And then people fucking got mad at him. Like, so mad. And I'm like, chill the fuck out. Yeah. It's an Among Us color. It's a color in Among Us.
Yeah.
Alright? it.
Honestly, the entire Dream SMP stuff really fucking confused me. Every single time, like, a member just did something, they would have got a shit for it. It's so weird because I remember there was a controversy with Quackity that he spoke fucking Spanish.
Is that your spaghetti bowl? Yeah, I'm a spaghetti bowl.
It's so weird. I think, oh my god, like Twitter is such a weird fucking hodgepodge.
I remember hearing about the drama of Quackity speaking Spanish, and I'm like,
he's like half Mexican, I believe.
I believe, yeah. I'm like, I was thinking, what in the fucking bullshit is this?
Yeah.
For him speaking another language? What, are you gonna get mad at fucking Niachu for speaking German? Like, are you gonna get mad at her for speaking the language she spoke at, like, the language, her first language?
Yeah.
German. Are you gonna get mad at her?
Yeah.
No, you stupid cunt bags. Alright? Chill the fuck out, Twitter.
Alright. Okay.
Chill out, Twitter.
I'm so censoring that in edit. Oh my god. I am so censoring that. What the fuck? I never thought I heard those two words combined into one until now.
Never heard people say that?
No, never in my life.
I've said it before, actually. I don't think I've said it with you.
You've never said it with me. No,
yeah,
you never.
I said it around my good friend V. I was like,
what the fuck? That was so unexpected. Just out of fucking nowhere, just drop the two harshest slurs I've ever heard in my entire life. We're not even first episode in and we're already fucked. Congrats, man. You did the impossible. You fucked everyone over. First recording.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot you were recording.
Oh, I'm still calling out work tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. I'm editing tomorrow. I don't fucking care. Just the harsh.
I'll limit my cussing. All right.
Oh, the two harshest slurs I've ever heard in my entire life.
How is a cunt?
I'm fucking dying. I'm fucking sweating, dude. It's so hot in my room. Holy shit.
Bro, I legitimately fucking saw you laugh, and the mic didn't pick it up.
It did. I was gasping for air, dude.
Oh my god. I just saw you laugh, like, silently.
I was wheezing the fuck. Okay.
Shit, my ribs are cramping.
Okay. All right. We're done.
Oh god.
We're done. We're done. It wasn't even that funny.
I'm mostly laughing because I just see you laughing, but I don't hear it. I don't hear it at all. I just see you.
I have a very high pitched voice. Ironically, so my mic cannot pick it up well. So every single time I like wheeze or like have like a very high pitched sound coming out of me, my mic cannot pick it up. It's a thing that happens. It's a thing that happens with all my mics. Every single one of them.
I'm gonna be honest. It just adds comedic value.
Yeah,
where you're just suddenly just cut off.
Yeah, for some reason Streamlabs picks it up perfectly. It usually picks up my last pretty wonderfully, but Discord cannot fucking handle it. It doesn't matter how much I change it, it cannot pick it up. It doesn't matter if I change my mic or Discord settings itself, will never pick it up, and I find it fucking hilarious.
It's actually funny.
And the times that I do find like a nice little sweet spot, it picks up all my audio in my fucking room. So I was just like, oh, fucking forget it. It's.
I'm gonna be honest. So, like, here's the thing. When I laugh, my mom has described it as it sounds like someone crying.
Yeah.
Like, Discord doesn't pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, it does not pick it up.
Dude, I almost fucking cried when you first said that. I was fucking dying. Like the suddenness, the out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, dude. Like, what the fuck? To be honest, I don't even care. Let me just put this out there. A lot of the members of the podcast are LGBT, and a lot of them use that slur a lot. So don't take it as any offense. We don't mean it in like an offensive way.
Wait, did you think I said the F slur?
Yes, it sounded exactly like
cunt bag. I said cunt bag. I never said. I don't actually like say the F slur. I think get myself.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of saying it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
But I would understand why people thought because like it was just so out there. Like, it was loud. It cut off right at that moment. It sounded like you said it, and that's why I fucking died, because like I thought you said it.
No. Here's the thing. All right. Like, I don't think I've ever really actually said the F slur. I don't even say the slur for trans people because I'm like, it exists. I can't say it, but I'm like, why would I?
Okay, to be honest, I do say it, but not to anyone, because that's just. Even to the ones I know, like, really well. Like, for example, Don, V Mercenous. I don't say that to him because, like, why the fuck would I? Like, I have no reason to say it to anyone unless they really get be pissed.
Like, here's the thing. Whenever I say it, it isn't aimed at anyone. It's aimed at myself.
Yeah, most of the time.
I make jokes about it.
Yeah.
About it, like, even in Hobby Lobby where I walk in. And I'm like, wow, gay detected. Like, gay detected. And then my mom's like, oh, yeah. And then they tackle her. You know, they funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's, like, the only time I use it is if it's directed towards, like, me as a person.
Yeah.
I just think that when I'm doing that, I don't think I've ever even, like, mentioned ever saying it even on stream.
Yeah.
Because I just direct it at myself.
Yeah.
But I don't say it because I'm like, why would I say it in any other way?
Yeah. I now realize that I might have to cut off this entire conversation in post editing, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep the entire recording like as a separate thing, separate file. But I'm probably gonna have to cut this out if this ever wants to go up on YouTube.
Yeah, I understand though. Because YouTube is
it's a little something. You could say that.
Yeah. I mean, hold on. I feel like let's deter from what the conversation for a bit. I got a plush of an STD at Pride, and it's chlamydia. I'm not joking. I sent an image. Like, I sent an image, and it was above like your response of I'm also down for some single player games. And I
that's what it was?
Yeah, that's the plush chlamydia.
What the fuck? I didn't think that was that at all.
No, I legitimately even commented chlamydia.
I just thought you were just shitposting.
No, it is chlamydia. Like, I'm not even fucking joking.
I'll put up the photo here or something like that. But yeah. Oh fuck! I had a nice conversation that probably would have alleviated directly into, but I completely fucking forgot because my mind is so fried.
I'm gonna be honest. I think this entire thing has just been like. I think it's pretty obvious how unscripted.
It really is.
This is just so
okay. So I remember what it was now.
Okay.
So we're gonna go a little bit into like past Subface Pod. Like, this was pre B Star and Elshi. This was before you guys. This was just back when me and Andrew were were like doing the podcast. So originally our plan was to live stream our podcast episodes on Twitch. And so the original plan was to just the dual content was essentially to live stream our stuff on Twitch, and then and then on YouTube we do usual YouTube content shit.
Yeah,
that was the original plan, but we realized then we needed a home for our podcast because I think I forgot the password to the Twitch account that we were using. And I have the email that I could get back into it, but I forgot the password. And I think when I tried to ask them to like recover our account, I never ended up getting the code or anything like that to recover the account. So so you could probably find the Twitch account somewhere. And if you guys do, let you know, you're never going to see that shit live ever again because I do not have the password.
I mean, like,
yeah.
It's just gonna exist.
It's just there at that point. And so the first 2 episodes of the podcast we ever live streamed was actually during Kanye's Donda release and Drake's Certified Boy Lover release. And we did the Kanye one first. We listened to almost half of Donda. We thought it was fine. It was just a Kanye album. We wanted to do a second one, but then we realized we would have gotten into massive trouble because, it's copyrighted shit. So we just decided not to. And then we just ended up not using Twitch. And we mainly stick to YouTube.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons why I feel like the Surface podcast originally failed, which I did talk about on stream at some point.
Yeah.
But I feel like the main reason why it failed, one of the main reasons, was because we did intro to horror so much that any single time we would deviate from, like, do like a Let's Play or maybe do like a Valorant rank grind or anything like that, it'd get shit views in comparison to intro to horror. So we just stuck to that. I remember we did a Ultimate Meme compilation reaction that got shit views. It was terrible. So we just ended up sticking to intro to horror instead of trying to force our way to do multi-content.
Yeah, I think, or at least if we ever do try and do multi-content, that we can like post one thing like intro to horror and then another one.
My original concept was to connect in some way intro to horror to maybe say a horror Let's Play. Like, for example, we reacted to Mandela Catalog. Okay, we play a Mandela Catalog related fan game.
Or that'd actually be really cool.
Or maybe if we did play like FNAF Sister Location, well, we play Sister Location, we react to a FNAF analog horror video, like Scrampus McGrimpus, for example.
Yeah.
And honestly, I doubt that would have been a concept we could have done, but remember the first few episodes, because remember. Fun fact, intro to horror was actually not my idea. It wasn't my original idea. It was based off of another YouTuber, Corey Kenshin. I was starting to get into the analog horror scene at the time, and Corey Kenshin with Spooky Scary Sunday actually led me down that rabbit hole. So I was like, hey, what? I approached Andrew one day. I was like, hey, so there's this content creator, Corey Kenshin. He does this series, Spooky Scary Sunday. Why not we try to replicate that? And then we did it. Because I remember because okay, I think at some point I will probably do like a full timeline of how the Surface podcast came to be. But I remember it was the first few contents we did 2 playthroughs. We did a Dark Souls 3 playthrough and we did a Fallout New Vegas playthrough. Our original scope was to have Intro to Horror be like its own separate thing. And then we do at least 2 playthroughs, one for each. The entire script or plan was to Intro to Horror as a separate thing. It's gonna be like kind of like the straight timeline of whatever the fuck we could find, and our playthroughs would have been one for Andrew, one for me, and the other games we wanted to do were Fallout 4. Borderlands 3, just a lot of games in general.
I like Borderlands 3.
Yeah. And that was the original plan. But when we continued the channel, we ended up not being into it anymore. And
that makes sense.
yeah, because we were busy with work, we were just too busy. And
Yeah,
Andrew, and I was still passionate about the Stuff Face podcast. I was
yeah,
very passionate, but I think you could tell by going through the Intro to Horror series that Andrew was slowly losing his passion for it.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he left, and it really did hurt because going with separating from a partner who you have done content for a pretty long time at this point, it did hurt for me.
Yeah, I don't understand why, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, but I'm honestly glad I'm able to do this again because I did love the Stuff Face podcast. The amount of effort that I went through this, I if I had to change one thing about the podcast in its early days was to not do Intro to Horror, or at the very least did so little.
Yeah, that I understand that.
I remember, yeah, I remember the first Intro to Horror episode we did, which was Mandela Catalog related. It was Overthrown and Think Principle, which I said earlier in like our private discussion before this recording. It currently sits at almost 600 views. It is by far the most popular episode to date because I think at that point we didn't even come up with the name. We just sat down, recorded, watched these 2 episodes, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think the Intro to Horror name didn't come until like 2nd or 3rd episode. And it was really fun because Andrew brought this. We had an interesting dynamic. The thing with me and Andrew is that Andrew is the type of person who, when you first meet him, he has like his deadpan tone.
Oh, like, shit, really?
If you ever listen to, if you know Leafy is here, like an old 2016 commentary channel.
Yeah, I know.
His voice is almost, it sounds exactly like him. Deadpan. His tone is like not serious. So when we did the episodes, he usually brought a sense of comedy that I could not have brought because I was usually like into these episodes, watching these videos, and then Andrew's on the sideline just not really giving a shit, which brought up some of our best moments, honestly. And honestly, and going into the podcast with everyone in the server currently, I fear that it's going to be hard for all these extra people because me and Andrew knew each other for almost a decade at this point. And for you guys, I've only known you for like what, collectively almost a year at this point. Almost a year.
Let me check when the first time
me and you interacted at like near December of 2021, I believe.
December 28th, 2022.
Oh wow.
It was you were asking if I was still interested
in the server in the SMP I was doing.
Yeah.
My God. That was such a complete mess.
And then as we talked, I was like, yeah, sorry for the late response. You were like, yeah, we just started, but you can still join, the list. And then I was like, okay, thank you.
And then immediately after that message, it all went to shit really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, not to stir up, like, I have no beef. Currently, I have no beef with the people who were involved in the project, in the SMP, right? I just, talking about this it's like me going through a landmine, like a minefield, because I have to, like, avoid certain shit, or else the drama will start right back up, and I don't want that. Because generally speaking, at the time, I hated these guys because they did some scummy shit that I found to be scummy, and they thought what I was doing was scummy, and then we just hated each other very much. But now I can look back at the event and realize where it went wrong, and honestly, do I regret it? Not really. I do regret how it turned out. But what I don't regret is meeting you, Star, Elshi, and the rest, even though you guys really do get on my ass sometimes.
And then it's funny because the first time, like, I was like, hey, any of my Twitter mutuals want to be friends on Discord.
Yeah.
You were the only one who responded. The only one. You're the only person.
I don't remember what the fuck I said in that message. I can't even remember what I said.
I don't remember because it was such a long time ago.
Comparatively, yeah, it was such a long time ago. I think I still have the DMs from our Twitter interaction.
Yeah, and then like it doesn't really say it because obviously it was like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
But I just said, "Here's my Discord,"
and then I just added you.
Like, oh, done, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's history at this point.
That's just, and then the rest is history.
I can't remember I remember my first interaction with you. I do not remember anything about Elshi or Star. I don't recall anything. I know they were in connection to you. I remember you introduced me to them or something like that. But in our separate interactions, I have no idea.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know about your guys' separate interactions when I'm around.
I have no idea.
But I know I had I believe at one point I had asked if you wanted to play like Roblox.
Yeah.
Roblox with us.
Yeah. I think that was my first voice. I think that was my first interaction with you guys as a whole. Like not but Elshi and Star. I think those were my first interactions. It was a lovely time, even though it was really fucking stupid.
It was very stupid. It was also very chaotic because you were like, we kept on making you mad.
It was so fucking frustrating. It was so frustrating because like I think it was on a live stream too. I think I was live at that. I was live at that point, and then you guys were just fucking coming into my shit. Ruining everything. It was just like, oh my fucking god.
We were just having like a bunch of fun too.
And then I was just like,
we were just messing around.
And I was just like, just having a major headache. And
then you had like I believe most of the time when you interacted with Al and Star, it was like via chat.
Yeah.
Most of the time they were just chatting.
Yeah, they were just there, and then I would talk to them, but I think that was it. I think I should talk about, speaking of meeting you and Elshi and Star, I should talk about the other interactions that I've had with the other people in the server. So I think we'll talk about one of the most interesting ones, which I believe was Marbles. So my interaction with Marbles was essentially I still remember. So my first interaction with Marbles was actually with like a really like dumb Twitter beef that we had. The beef was okay, so if you didn't know, Marbles was, if you look on their Twitter currently, they're an Owl House fan. They're an Owl House guy. And during that time, I was really into the Owl House community. I wasn't like a big fan of the show.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I like the art very much, and I just so happened to be a lot on Owl House Twitter, so I was like, fuck it, I might as well stay here.
Yeah. And I remember you mentioning that. You were like, I don't even watch Owl
House. I don't watch the show. But if you go through my catalog of not only tweets, if you go on my Twitter right now and you look at my overlays and stuff like that, it will tell a completely different story. Because in my overlay, I have a reference to Owl House. I think it's Luz Nocetta and Amity Blight as like kind of like a poster thing.
Yeah.
I have that there, and to a random guy, you're just like, "Are you an Owl House fan?" I was like, "No, not really." I understand why people love the show. I just have no interest in it.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But here's you want to know how I can easily get the Owl House fans mad at me?
Oh man, I have a whole list.
Hunter and Willow were so goddamn rushed, and not only that, I love Lou Amity, but that was also rushed due to the councilization. Yeah. And it should have had more time to progress as a story together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got in trouble for that actually.
But I remember you mentioning that it was rushed, and I was like, "Yeah, it's fucking."
I said that as a fucking joke, and all of a sudden, a lot of Owl House fans got fucking pissed at me. It was like,
I can be honest, I didn't read any other comment because I just wanted to talk about how like
it was so fucking funny. It's so funny, but yeah. So back to the interaction with Marbles. My interaction with Marbles was essentially the main reaction because most of before this main interaction happened, it was usually just like a bunch of like random Owl House tweets that I seen him on, and then I just get him pissed. And just like, oh, it's you, just like that guy. And then I remember they posted a tweet saying like, Diet Dr Pepper or Dr Pepper Zero or some bullshit Dr Pepper flavor was better than regular Dr Pepper, and there was like, what fucking crack were you smoking? Because that is the worst take imaginable, and that's how we became friends. Just that one interaction. Yeah. I don't think I talked to him seriously until the server came about. When I just asked him randomly, like, hey, you want to join the server we're doing? And just like, yeah, sure. Fun fact. Yeah. At that time, I asked him. I rebranded from Sipspass to Atlas, and when I asked him to join, because okay, so right now my Discord handle is currently Atlas because that's who I am now. But before that, I didn't rebrand it. I didn't rebrand the Discord. It was still Sipspass. So when I sent him a friend request on Discord, he was like, wait, you're that fucking guy! Because at the time, like, we didn't interact that seriously until the server came about. So when I sent him a friend request, he was like, wait, you're that fucking guy on that Dr. Pepper thing. You rebranded, and he just never noticed.
Yeah.
He just thought it was some random fucking guy.
Funniest part, actually, what I think is really funny is that I still call you Sippy Cup, like, every interaction. I'm like,
you, Elshi, and Stardew. It's interesting because it's like, Sipspass, I remember how I created the name Sipspass.
I should create it. Give me the story.
Random word generator.
Valid.
That is all I fucking did. Oh, fun fact about my name. My name was actually censored in a video game.
Sipspass
was censored in a video game. It was considered an offensive term.
Oh my goodness, wait, I have to tell you something. This is actually relating to the offensive term, so I'm not going off topic. So my friend
we fucking go.
He tried to name himself Spoinky. Like Spoink with a Y at the end.
Yeah.
On Among Us.
Yeah.
And guess what? They said it was offensive. They said the name Spoinky was offensive. And he tried to like change it on Roblox too, but it was too offensive. I remember laughing at him. This is, mind you, all right. So little backstory about it. Like my friend V, that's the nickname I gave him, you know.
Yeah.
The name that he goes by is Quinn, and he is the person I was jokingly making fun of for wanting to be called Owen. And hold on, let me tell you the interaction we had, because I think it's hilarious. Hold on, let me go to it because I was like, this is so. I was like, okay. So he was like, we went to the lake and it was raining a lot. I was like, nice. Is that when Jesus put Owen in your head like a fucking? No, it wasn't. It was when we came home and I was watching TikTok. I'll stick with Quinn for now. So Jesus decided to put Owen in your head while watching TikTok. He was like, yes. Now is the time, my child. And he was like, stop, lol. And I was like, I just laughed. And he was like, okay. What name would you suggest? Would you think of? And I was like, I don't fucking know. It took me a while to settle on the YB, which is, my actual fucking name.
Yeah.
Name reveal.
Yeah.
Slay. Anyways, and I was like, jokes aside, if you want to be called Owen, I'll call you it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I sound like a white boy. And I was like, you sound like a white boy. That's why he settled on the name Quinn, because he sounded like a white boy. He didn't want to sound like a white boy. And I was like, I'm going to be honest. If I just heard your name, I would think of a white boy.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't obviously like that, but I was like, yeah, you do sound like a white boy.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he was like, okay, I'll keep looking. But now the names I got, or Johnny, Jason, Quinn, and I was like, I like Quinn or Jason. And he's like, me too. I've also had Quinn the longest because Quinn is like a part of his username, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's Quinn. You know, that's what he goes by online. And I was like, my mother likes Quinn because, you know, my mom has a very valid opinion because, you know, my mom calls him her her unofficial child, her other child. And then so it was like and I was like, all right, and I'm like, sticking with Quinn then for now at least. Well, I was like, Coolio. And he's like, yeah, hey, how did you find your name? And I said, I like the character Whitey from Coraline. I thought about it and decided it fit better. Nice and reasonable reasoning. Well, yep. And that was the end of the conversation. Nice and reasonable. I was like, yep.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also realize you have a weird way of ending interactions. You end them so one-worded, and then sometimes we don't talk for days, and then I randomly hit you up. I was like, "Hey, you know this one thing? Yep," and then done. We're just done interacting for like a day. It's so weird. But anyway, so back to my name being censored in the game.
Yeah.
So okay, so you know the game Back for Blood, right? It was a spiritual success for Left 4 Dead 2 shit game. Anyway, so I remember me and my buddy Andrew. This was never uploaded on the podcast, by the way, on the podcast channel. Okay. So me and Andrew, I managed to get us both beta access keys for the beta, which I think was open at that point. But we managed to get keys so that once the beta was accessible, we would have played it like day one, right?
Yeah.
I remember. So I have a recording of it. I think I deleted the upload, but I think I still have the recording somewhere. So essentially it was, oh man. Okay. So it was like during one of the missions, Andrew pointed out that my name was censored, but not my full name. Sip was fine. Spaz was not okay. And then I looked it up. It turns out Spaz was an offensive word for people who are mentally disabled.
Oh my god.
So, and I've used that name for years. I never fucking knew until I searched it up. And then that led into like a long conversation about like offensive terms and like what's okay to say and what's not okay to say, which I completely cut out because Andrew, I believe, used like a very harsh slur. And it's like, okay, like I understand. Okay, back at that point, because like he was still on edgy humor and stuff like that. Wasn't that deep. Like, oh, you know, it's just saying a bunch of offensive shit and hoping someone would get the joke. He at least had some nuance and stuff like that. He was just mainly talking about the fact that slurs that we don't find okay today, we found okay in the past, and then suddenly we don't find okay. Like the R word, we obviously don't find it okay nowadays, but it was just like 3 years ago we found it okay to say. I understand his point, but that conversation led such into a deep rabbit hole, and I had to cut out the entire segment from the video, even though the video was titled "An Unedited Video About Back for Blood." I had to cut that entire segment. I had to cut it out.
Cut it out.
I had to. It was too fucking stupid. Yeah.
I think a good example of our or at least my interacting with people is one of the messages be yes, we have a new OC coming in. Nice.
That's fucking it.
I'll just need your help fitting him in a noodle shop is all. Okay.
Yeah.
Design and lore. Okay.
Yeah, and you were just so hooked on one word responses. I got fucking nothing. I had to force myself to continue the conversation. It was so bad. It was for a new member who just recently joined. We had like 2 new members. One doesn't want to be a part of the podcast, but still wants to be friends with us, which is fine. And then another one who wants to be involved. And then I asked you, how do you want them to fit? You want this character to fit in?
I think it was also because like the reason why is because I was thinking about it, and I was like, most of the time I was putting a lot of effort into, okay, where would Lotus put this guy? And then he was like, he's egotistical, you know, like things like that. So I decided, all right, Lotus would probably put him in the back, stocking things or occasionally working with Eliza, which is Elsie Nova's character, because Eliza is a interesting character, to say the least. And then you two is like base, and I was like,
and then this,
and I think you were like, yo, B, you see the new Overwatch skins this season? Yeah. Hey, B, what's the color scheme of the Lotus noodle shop? Earthy colors, so mostly browns, moss greens, blues, and gold. You should totally redraw your character. Your drawing has improved a ton. I'm probably going to redraw some of my older OCs.
And then I asked her to do Lotus first.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of I haven't been doing it because I haven't even been drawing that recently. And I was like, give Lotus a shot.
So I think it's fair to say I can put this out there because it might not happen at this point. But the original plan to introduce people into these new members of the Self-Face podcast, because remember, it's been like, how long has it been? Like a year or two since the last upload. Let me check real quick. It was hold on, you gotta go to this shit. 318 days, so almost a year has passed since the last upload of the Self-Face podcast. And a lot of people are probably gonna be asking where Andrew is. So I got really ambitious with the introduction. So the original plan was to have a full-on animated short where we introduce every single OC everyone has into like this one gigantic short, so that everyone can get used to these characters and can get used to the new members as well. As I'm the only former member, or the only old member.
You're the oldest member. You're also I believe you're also the oldest age-wise as well.
Yeah, I think I am too, out of everyone, which I am very sad.
I think obviously not that older than like.
I'm not, or you.
Not extremely old, because I am going to be turning 18 this year. So I'm not like
Lucas, Mercury likes actually turned 18, but I'm still 20, about to go into 21. And to be honest with you, I'm already feel like I'm like 25. But so the original idea was to have an animated short to introduce everyone, you, Elshi, as not only OCs, as your guys' characters, but as actual members, and then have my OC. And then I think another thing was, before that short would have came out, I would have made a update video, which I think by the time this recording session is done, I probably would have already uploaded it, about how everything has changed. You know, I mean, Andrew's now gone. I'm a bisexual. You know, a lot has changed throughout the years since.
Sorry, I feel like that's very important. Andrew's gone. I'm a bisexual.
Yeah, it's such a weird fucking line and stuff like that, but it is important, because it's like,
it is very important.
Because not only are the newer members, most of them are LGBT. I'm also LGBT myself. And again, Andrew is gone, which I do hope I can somehow convince him to come back and interact with you guys. But the days are looking slimmer and slimmer. At some point, if this podcast does pop off, I will probably want Andrew back, and I'll try to convince him. But he's not doing content anymore, and I have to respect that, because even though he's my good friend, what can I do? You know, I had to respect his wishes. So yeah, I have a lot planned for the podcast as a whole. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of fucking money, and I have to find it. Like, during the last few weeks, this last week, I've been going fucking insane, because not only have I been scrambling to find animators, but not only that, but I'm a lot of personal shit that has happened within the server that caused like some members to leave, and I had to scramble, like go into what essentially is at this point damage control, tried to put everything together, because at that point everything was crumbling. Like, another member, like 3 members left at that point because of really personal shit that I do not want to get into before their own personal reasons. But I was just scrambling left, right, and center, trying my hardest to keep it all together. And not only that, but I've also went through some personal shit as well. It was just hard for me throughout like these three. Like the last weekend was fucking rough for me. It was just it's crazy. So I think I actually talked to Star about not doing a full animation, but she sent me a bunch of like old Minecraft stuff that she used to do back in the past, like like that Sam Gladiator Minecraft roleplay stuff. And I was thinking,
oh my god, wait a minute, I was actually a part of that.
Yeah, and I was thinking like maybe we could do the script for the animated short and just recreate it in Minecraft.
Yeah, I think that'd actually be like pretty cool. Plus, I'm gonna be honest, I honestly I would not care if you're like build this in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be rough because like I don't have my own Minecraft skin. Atlas does not exist in Minecraft yet, and I do not know how to make a Minecraft skin.
Here's the thing. I have a skin for Lotus. I hate it. I think it's ugly, so I don't even use it.
All right,
like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I legitimately have been using like a deer, like a pre-made skin, like one of those free skins with the like men loving men flag.
Yeah.
That's legitimately. I'm not even joking.
Guys being dudes. Guys being dudes.
It's just that's legitimately it. And before, I feel like this is very important. Before, I wasn't even using a character. I was using a character.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man. I was using power.
I was too. I was using power too.
Yeah, we both of us are using
power. Power. Look at this Xbox controller, by the way.
That's so cool.
It's a very nicely controller. Boom, lime green, blue back, orange front.
I've never actually like you want to know when I actually started to play on the Xbox? When my stepbrothers moved in like 2016, 2017.
Funny story about this, how I got this controller. It was a pain in the ass. So I have a friend of mine who actually, fun fact, does want to become a member of the Stuffface podcast, but I haven't added him into the server yet. But so me and this friend, who I would not reveal the name of for reasons, we were just going on a shopping trip together, just hanging around. We were in Target, and before this trip happened, I really wanted this controller. I mean, it looks fucking great. It's beautiful. And I wanted it, but it was $70 damn. So I was like, okay, how do I do this? And then I realized like, oh, I have $50 in my bank account. Why not just ask my sister for like $20? And then I get the controller with my employee discount since I work at Target. And we were at the checkout lane, and I assume the person who was working at the lane was new and didn't know what to do. So when I scanned my my employee discount, and nothing was happening. There was no payment going through, anything like that. So I was confused. Like, is my card not working? What's going on? And then she was like, "Look, it's fine. I'll pay for it." I was like, "No, don't do that." And at this point, and then she combined her items into my order, and then I ended up spending like over $100.
It's actually, I feel like this is very important. I'm now actually watching a streamer while talking. I'm watching Anoya Luster, a bald monk VTuber who's really cool and very chill. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was pretty much the story. I felt like the funny story how I got this controller. I actually spent like over $100 for something that should have just cost me $70.
Yeah.
It's really fun, really. Obviously, I don't. It wasn't her fault. Okay, it wasn't her fault. I'm not putting your blame on anyone. I just found it a really funny story.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah. I think, and I also realized that a lot of the members have a little sidekick for their OCs and stuff like that. I know Star does. I know Elsie does. Do you have one at all?
Yes, Francis.
Oh, that's right.
Francis.
I've
my little penguin, my little baby penguin.
Yeah. And here's my sidekick.
Love it. I love it.
This little shit.
Has
Honestly,
committed numerous war crimes,
look at this guy.
but is innocent.
Yeah, he's his name is Cakey. I named him that because he looks like a cake.
Yeah.
But then when I realized after I named him, I realized that A, he is a she, and 2, he's strawberry pancakes.
Everyone's just fighting over for like.
Nah, the strawberry pancake cakey is just trans.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't even like. Okay, so funny thing about Squishmallow stuff, like Squishmallows, sometimes whenever you like go to like and you buy one of these things,
Yeah.
They with the tag that you use to scan them to buy them, they have lore.
Yeah, I know.
Why? Let me look at this guy.
I can't. I'm obviously not gonna show it. I have a black because I have a black cat one that I got for Halloween.
Yeah.
And it had like lore, and I don't remember its name. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember what.
Look, I have 3 of these.
Why do you have 3?
Well, I got this one.
Why are they staring into my soul?
Well, I got this one during Christmas, and I just saw these 2. I was like, I have this one. Why not just get these? Yeah. This one's Omnom. This one is Omnomnus, and this one's Francis.
Oh my god, just like mine. Just like my little guy, Francis.
I just like the main joke behind this one. It's just like Omnomnus, and then Francis.
Yeah.
Just give this guy a random human name.
I'm gonna be honest. Actually, funniest part, you want to know why? Although I was chosen at random, there is actually a lore reason on why Francis was given the name Francis by Lotus.
Why?
Remember, very important thing for anyone who does not know, Lotus is like an angel, like a based off of
to which Atlas does solo. No diff. Go continue.
Anyways, like to what is it like and it has a form where they are actually a moth. I just use the human disguise because that shit would be too expensive.
Yeah.
To because it has like 8, like I believe 6 arms. No wait, 4 arms and like a shit ton of wings.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give the riggers a break and not use this one. And then I came up with a design. This is not the original one.
Yeah.
This is a design someone redesigned. But yeah. Lotus is based off of like a type of angel.
Yeah.
A type of angel. And that is what Lotus is based off of, the less humanoid forms of angels.
Yeah.
And then I decided to give them this form.
Yeah.
Or at least a human form.
Biblically accurate angels.
And then so Lotus is very much so a moth.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yes.
And then so I'm gonna be honest, I was like, Pope Francis? Why not? Just remove the Pope.
Francis. That's
Francis.
it. Fucking genius.
That is the canon reason because of Pope Francis.
Yeah,
that is not actually the reason why.
Yeah.
I had named Francis that. It's because I just searched up a random name.
Just like
I was like, what is a good? I'm not even joking. I was like, a good male name.
Yeah.
And it was like Francis.
Francis.
And I was like, Francis. Okay, Francis.
Fuck it. We take this. Fuck it. We're done. Oh man. I also had a little bit of a more ambitious side when using when it comes to OCs in our anime. So I originally wanted an actual animated series out of our OCs, and the original I had an actual like idea down. Our OCs would have been traveling to like different like series and universes and stuff like that, like I don't know, Atlas and My Hero Academia or some shit like that. It would have been fucking weird.
It would have been great in My Hero Academia.
Yeah, he solos the verse, no diff. Anyway, yeah, easily. I also had an idea for your character. So, if you remember, obviously I've talked about Mandela Catalog to an extent at this point. Well, if you do you know much about the lore of Mandela Catalog?
I've heard about it.
Do you know the Archangel Gabriel, right?
Yeah, I know.
So in the Mandela Catalog universe, the Archangel Gabriel that's seen within the show is actually an alternate. He's not the actually Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah.
So I wanted to at least, and since your character is an angel, I thought, why not just add him into this?
Why not, you know?
And have like maybe like an interesting conversation between Lotus and Gabriel. But I would not. But what I didn't think of is the relationship that Lotus and Gabriel would have, or at least this version of Gabriel, because it's been theorized that this version of Gabriel is not only an alternate, but it's thought to be the devil in disguise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I would have thought like an interesting altercation between this Gabriel and Lotus, because I don't know, I would assume that Lotus has interacted with at least some of the biblically famous angels and stuff, like
most likely
Gabriel, like Gabriel and Michelangelo. Or Michael.
Michael, not Michelangelo.
Yes.
No, it's actually because Lotus worked with death.
Yes.
Lotus was like worked with death.
Yeah.
Like I think twice at some point.
I will actually love
like, directly.
Yeah.
And one of them was indirectly as Lotus. Like should I just give a brief background about how Lotus even became like went into the human realm?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
right, well,
we're it's like 1:14 where I am right now. I got all the fucking time.
All right, this is gonna be brief. All right,
yeah.
So Lotus is a slacker. Like they do not give a shit about their job.
Oh yeah.
So he worked at different places. One point he was, like at one point he had worked. I'd have to remember exactly because I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not fucking read that shit in like ages, pretty much. Hold on. Where the fuck? Oh shit! Wrong Gmail. Lol. All right. I'm not choosing.
Okay. But yeah, honestly, it would have been interesting because I have like, in comparison to like a lot of biblically famous angels and stuff from the Bible, it would have been interesting to see where Lotus would fit in, because I would assume Lotus was around during when Jesus was born and stuff.
Yeah, Lotus is fucking ancient.
Yeah,
they legitimately have pillars.
Yeah,
from like handmade pillars from Greek time.
Yeah.
I think they would be there for the birth of Jesus.
Yeah. So in the universe of Mandela Catalog, so the devil, who is portraying himself as Gabriel, who is probably an alternate, actually managed to trick God and the humans into worshiping him and thinking he is the savior and not Jesus.
Huh.
Yeah. And I believe and the original story is, obviously we all know the original story. Jesus is born, yada yada. He's the savior.
Yeah.
In this story, the child that Mary gave birth to, we think is an alternate. It's not Jesus, and that the person that the shepherds are tricked into believing is Jesus is just the devil in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been interesting seeing how like Lotus would take that information that Gabriel fooled the shepherds, and possibly fucked everyone. Fucked everyone over.
All right, I have the doc.
Okay.
Their jobs. All right.
Yeah.
So here was their first job. Their first job was like guarding some powerful people, but one of them was a dick. Lotus does not have a gender. Very fun fact.
Yeah.
Lotus just exists.
Oh, I'm sure.
Lotus is just there.
Yeah.
Living his best life.
Yeah.
So it's like pick a gender. And then so after that, like they just stopped giving a shit about him.
Yeah.
In fact, they legitimately watched him get murdered and did nothing about him, just stand there. And then they were like, the old fuck had it coming with a shrug. That's the exact line.
Yeah.
Stating the old fuck had it coming with a shrug. They got fired. Later they had to watch over the old, seeing who's gonna die, reporting to death, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
They hated it. they didn't get fired. They quit. They quit. This is the line I put. They surprisingly didn't get fired, but they did quit. They didn't like how it smelled like sadness and loneliness.
Yeah.
That was the exact reason why they had left.
Yeah.
Just because they just hated the vibe of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one was, taking away of animals who had passed. That's when they met Francis. They got emotionally attached to Francis. So they kidnapped him.
Yeah, just fucking yoinked him. Just yoinked.
They all ended up getting fired. That job, they got them in big trouble.
Yeah.
The main job that got them in trouble was when they were signed the role of keeping the dead in the afterlife. But they were too concerned about Francis to give a shit about the dead. They were like, whatever. And that caused a lot of the dead to leave the afterlife, which is actually funny because Elle's lore is leaving the afterlife, and Elle, Eliza works for Lotus.
Yeah.
Who legitimately worked for death and worked in the afterlife, but just didn't give a shit.
Oh yeah.
And that got the job got them in big ass trouble.
Yeah.
As punishment, they had to give up Francis, but they were like, fuck no, I'm not giving up my penguin.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. In the human realm.
Yeah.
And they were like, whatever, just fucking leave.
Yeah.
So it's mostly as a punishment, they had to give up Francis. That's when they said that they could stay in the human world. After they were granted permission to stay in the human world, they ended up working at a noodle shop, which they now own, and became a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And that's the lore.
Yeah.
It's not even depressing.
Yeah, it's just
that girl lazy fuckhead.
Yeah, just a lazy, just a lazy person who just started a huge domino effect.
Yeah. It's even funnier because some of the VTuber lore is so depressing.
Yeah.
But my lore is I'm just lazy as fuck.
I think there is a part in Atlas's lore which is really depressing and sad, because the thing is that I've constantly said throughout this entire episode, Andrew has been a great partner in crime throughout my entire life at this point. So, and kind of to represent how he left the podcast, there would have been a very sad moment where Atlas, in the lore, Andrew's character, which I think about giving him a name, but I'm not too sure. In Atlas's lore, Andrew's character is dead, essentially. Was killed by Arasaka's soldiers because he works with Atlas, but I believe I also wanted it to be kind of a really gruesome death too. And then when Atlas finds out about his death, he was set to determined to fucking take on Arasaka no matter what for him. Essentially, it would have been a little bit more gruesome, depressing, and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't care. Just wanted to reference Andrew in some way.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Lotus has no depressing lore. They're just kind of this silly, funky guy who just is there.
Yeah.
They're just I own a noodle shop.
Oh,
and there's a dead person who I should be reporting, but to be honest, it's free labor.
Yeah.
Because Eliza gets paid in the blue thing. I forgot what's called. Blue soul flames.
Yeah.
And then that's how Lotus keeps Eliza by doing that. And Jupiter is somewhat similar to Eliza, except one of them has a vessel and the other one does not, because Jupiter has a vessel, which Jupiter is my newest VTuber design, the newest VTuber model. And that character, he is very much so he is a lost soul. He had just been vibing and then was forced into the a body of the doll.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck, dude? Why would you do that to me? Yeah. And the person was like, oh, you could have died. And he was like, oh,
yeah,
I'm already dead. It could be worse than double dying.
Yeah.
And then so now Jupiter just lives his best life. Funniest part, the actual doll has a name. Like, it has its own separate name.
Yeah.
Because they aren't the same. Like, they were not meant to be the one thing. They were just meant to be like the doll was meant to just be a toy for children. You know, like just like, yeah, here's my fucking 5'11". No wait, 7'3" foot, like 7'3". 7'3" foot tall fucking porcelain
that I got for half off.
But no, he was like, yeah, no, you're in the doll now. And
the
first reaction Jupiter had was, I hope you die. That was the first reaction. I hope you die.
Yeah.
Because imagine just living your best life.
I'm also just imagining a collaboration with Porcelain Maid. Just Joel just seeing like a fucking gigantic 7'3" porcelain doll. He definitely talk shit.
He probably would, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny because unlike the entire premise is that like, this is, mind you, Jupiter's like the body of Jupiter, like the body of Clara, which is the name of the doll.
Yep.
Is hollow. Like, it isn't even like, it's a hollow out body.
Yeah, like, it's just nothing inside whatsoever.
Yeah, his actual like soul is in there.
Yeah.
Like, so
I could just imagine the fan art with Jupiter and Porcelain Maid. Would have fucking. I'm honestly just thinking of the relationship those two would have.
Like, and Jupiter is very like, it's a very essentially, once I get that, I'm entirely changing the way I don't do content.
Yeah.
Because Jupiter is a very laid back and more of like a, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm stuck inside a doll. I guess I'll just live, laugh, love in these conditions.
Just live, laugh, love.
I'll just live, laugh, love in these conditions.
Oh my god, I hate that saying.
That's the entirety of like just Jupiter.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, whatever. I'll go with the flow.
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck
wow,
it.
this
fuck
is
it.
Happening?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Man.
So, I think I also had another ambitious plan with if an animated series does come out of these characters. I already have an ending planned out for it. Like, I'm deep into this shit. So ironically, the ending was gonna be 3 endings. So
really?
Yep. So essentially, throughout the series, Atlas, I believe I would try to make Atlas like this. So throughout the series, Atlas, I feel like throughout the series, it's gonna be kind of like one of those series where it's just like it's like a group of characters going out to do missions, going to universes, doing missions and stuff like that. While a bunch of other characters are just sitting in the bar or the shop, just helping them in some way. And I feel like throughout the series, Atlas will become more and more jealous because remember, he's just a normal guy. He's surrounded by angels and powerful people, and he's just a guy who only literally has his guns and whatever technology he has in him. And so he would become jealous, and throughout the series, he will get more and more enhancements that helps him become more powerful, right? But slowly but surely, he develops cyberpsychosis, which is essentially in the cyberpunk universe. Cyberpsychosis is a way where if you let your enhancements get the better of you, you will go insane and will possibly go on a killing spree. So the idea was that Atlas will become slowly but surely having more intense enhancements so that he can at least somewhat keep up with the rest of the cast, and then slowly but surely be delved into madness. And the 3 endings would have been a kind of like a final showdown-ish between Atlas and everyone else. The 3 endings would have been Atlas does win, everyone just fucking dies by his hands, and he is now tortured for the rest of his life, living in cyberpsychosis, fearing, just scared at that point.
Yeah.
Ending number 2 was going to be more, I'd say ending A, which I just said, was going to be kind of like a bad ending in a way. Ending B is going to be a little bit more of a neutral ending where Atlas does die. Atlas dies, and you know, part of your in the noodle shot where they have like a bunch of pictures of like random dead people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at the ending, it will kind of be like a zoomed in the camera shot of that entire wall, and then Atlas appears right next to his best friend who is dead. Remember? And then it would kind of like this somber feeling where you don't know what to feel. You should feel good for Atlas because he's reconnected with his best friend, but you gotta don't because, well, all the friends he's made throughout the way, they're not gonna live their lives without him, essentially. So it's called the neutral ending because you're not supposed to feel good or bad. You're just supposed to feel like,
neutral.
Yeah. You're happy for Atlas, but at the same time, you're kind of not.
Yeah.
And then,
like, you went in and said. Also, I feel like it's funny how we never actually touched upon the picture of random ass dead people and that in Lotus Cafe.
Yeah.
Like noodle shop. This is very important.
Yeah.
Lotus Star can like go to different universes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And Lotus
I remember this. You went into Night City. You caused a bunch of crazy shit to happen. And then you were just like, you're a bit like a god and shit like that, or at least a god to the people of Night City. You start they start a fucking cult. And then there would have been like a little gag in the episode where Atlas would be like, wait, you're Lotus? And you're just like, yeah. It's like, so that's who they're fucking, like, I have a bunch of like cultists outside my fucking house almost every day. It's just like want to cut to, like a bunch of cultists screaming like Lotus save us or something like that. And then Atlas would just scream out there from his apartment windows like, shut the fuck up! It's 8 in the morning!
I feel like the funniest part throughout this entire thing is that Lotus was like shit face fucking.
They were fucking blasted.
They were like blasted,
bro.
They were like
absolutely.
They were like blackout fucking drunk.
Absolutely. Absolutely fucked.
And then the moment, like, essentially what would have happened is that the moment Atlas said that, Lotus would have been like, I have a cult?
What? You fucking do. And, well, now I know. Thanks for ruining my entire sleep schedule, you fuck. And I feel like Lotus would have just gave a neutral but a slight bit of smug remark to that. It's like, you're welcome.
I'm gonna be honest. They'd be like, oh yeah, you're welcome.
And oh my god, he would have gotten fucking pissed. He would have gotten so furious. Yeah. So essentially, there would have been a moment in the short where Atlas would then look at the wall of dead people and will see his friend's picture. And then he will ask, hey, what's my friend doing on this wall? And then it will go into this really sentimental scene. And I forgot what you said was the purpose of the wall of pictures.
I remember. It's to make Lotus seem like they have more friends than they actually do.
Yeah.
Because they have two. They have two friends.
Yeah.
And technically, Francis does not count as a friend.
Yeah.
Because Francis is their pet.
Yeah.
But they have two friends.
Yeah.
And that is their two work.
And yeah. I remember there was gonna be like a really like sentimental line from Lotus. And then like Atlas would be like, and would have quietly said to himself, like, I'll see you soon, man. Just like a really sad moment.
Yeah, just like, oh, I think it was like something like, oh yeah, it's to make me seem like I have more friends than I actually do.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so back to the 3 endings. And so the final ending A, would have been your stereotypical good ending where no one is dead, but Atlas is defeated, but instead of dying, everyone would have helped Atlas come out of cyberpsychosis and would actually help him get treated so that he doesn't go on a rampage ever again. To be honest, yeah,
the Steven Universe route.
Yeah, to be honest, that's like out of all the three endings, I think I personally enjoy the neutral ending the
I
most.
think I like the neutral ending.
It's what
to be honest, yeah.
it just feels more complete and it
Yeah.
just kind of wraps everything up.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot more better, or
Yeah.
at least for me, because again, knowing Lotus, they tend like just their character just in general as like a general just thing
Mhm.
is that they know a thing or two about people going batshit insane. They've
Yeah.
been there for centuries,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think
Like,
throughout the fight between everyone and Atlas, I kind of want to make it to where Atlas isn't totally overpowered. You know, he's not gonna one shot everyone because well, you're a fucking angel, obviously. So
yeah,
I feel like he will be a surprising powerful foe when under cyber psychosis. Like he's cyber psychotic. And I feel like he could take out a lot of the members if he does like go crazy and have a lot of cybernetic enhancements. But I feel like
yeah,
that's why I kind of feel like the ending C, the barely bad ending, won't really make much sense because
yeah.
Lotus is really powerful, and the fact
Like
that Atlas
yeah.
could kill them is fucking insane.
Yeah, like the idea of a mortal being able to kill something
I
that has been
possibly would have used
alive.
like the South Park immortal rule where an immortal can kill another immortal, and then somehow Atlas throughout cyber psychosis would be able to somehow become immortal. Because
Yeah,
at that point he's completely off the deep end. He's willing to do anything to secure his bloodlust. Anything at that point.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna be honest. It's probably true. As you know,
yeah.
it's given. But then again, I don't even feel like Lotus would even really fight,
Fight him, yeah.
fight. If it's most likely they are going to be there as supports,
Yeah.
because given how Lotus is, they do not. They are an angel. They are
They're
very
like
much
a
so.
fight but if absolutely necessary.
If absolutely necessary,
Yeah.
they have legitimately have never really fought people
Yeah.
unless it was like absolutely necessary. There's no other
Yeah.
option other than fighting.
Yeah.
And if the character had gotten attached to Atlas, which considering how this story is probably going to take place in from years and
Yeah.
a couple
Bro, like
a
a
few
good bit a
years and
good
years,
time span of like
yeah,
growing
it's
relationships, building upon it. Yeah.
most likely that Lotus wouldn't want to hurt Atlas given their emotional connection
Yes.
to the person. They are very much so a pacifist.
Yeah.
They prefer non-violence. They
Yeah.
prefer a non-violent route.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know,
also generally think that in terms of like going back into the endings, I love the neutral ending a lot more because I
yeah,
think why I liked it a lot more is not only because it gives like it's kind of like a nice little wrap up of just like it gives an ending where it's just like everything's wrapped up. You probably won't expect anything else. That's what I like about it because there won't be no
yeah.
fucking spin-offs, all right? There won't be no
There will not
Atlas
be
traveling through the multiverse or some shit like that. It will just be it. That's it.
yeah.
Uh,
I
uh,
think that's an amazing ending. You
yeah,
know,
it's just it's a nice somber ending. You're not supposed to feel sad for anyone involved, but you're not supposed to feel happy. You're
yeah,
supposed to be like it happened, and it is what it
yeah. It
is.
happens. It is what it is.
And I feel like eventually Atlas may be replaced by someone else, but that doesn't like mean that they've completely forgotten about him.
It's actually an interesting thing
Yeah,
that Lotus will most likely keep the photo up, despite the fact that the wall is dedicated to just a bunch of random people,
yeah.
like just a bunch of random dead
And
people.
I just feel like
Uh,
Lotus will just keep a segment of the wall strictly for Atlas and his friend. Just
yeah, most likely as Lotus is a very sentimental type, given the factor that they got emotionally attached to a penguin and
yeah,
kidnapped it.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I just oh man, I love the idea of the neutral ending so damn much. It's just I think the weird thing about it is how it will go into the neutral ending and then like
I'm gonna be honest, most likely, like I actually just I don't know, given how the neutral ending is most likely going to be Lotus realizing, well, I can't actually stop you
yeah.
from hurting people. I feel like it would have been if you would have hurt, like, Lotus would have gotten an emotional connection with everyone there,
Yeah.
but they have a specific connection to, well, the only two friend that they have, then who worked with them forever.
Yeah.
Eliza, and I don't remember Star's character's name. So,
I
and
think
Star's character,
I think your character's name's just Star.
I think, and Star.
Yeah.
So those, like, I feel like if you would have, like, if Atlas would have hurt either one of them, Lotus would be like, I'm sorry, but
I gotta do what I gotta do.
I gotta do what I gotta do. This
Yeah.
ain't personal.
I feel
It's
like
just that, you
how
kind of,
yeah, I'll continue.
it's just kind of like you fucked with you fuck with the two people who have
Yeah.
been with my friends
Yeah.
like years and years. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I feel like how Atlas would travel in the multiverse and, just go on its rampage is
Yeah.
that he would steal the Star's character's wand. And because if you remember, Star's character's ability is the wand allowing her to make portals and travel through different universes. I feel
Mhm.
like he would secretly steal the wand and then go on a total rampage. But I want it to be where in build up to the neutral ending, no one would know what happened to Atlas, but they will go through every universe that he's been in and see the carnage, but they don't know that it was him. All they know is just that he's gone and there's a bunch of wreckage everywhere. We need to find him. And then
Yeah.
once they finally caught up to him, they then realize I feel like Atlas is just gonna have like shit tons of cybernetic enhancements to the point where you wouldn't be able to recognize him. And I feel like then when everyone finally meets him and they see him, they didn't think it was him, and then they put the dot, and then they finally like put the dots together, and then they'll realize it's him. And I don't know. I also do think that before he steals the wand and before he fully succumbs to it, he does have an emotional talk with one of the members. It's either going to be Lotus, Eliza, Star. It's going to be one of them about insecurities and feeling good about yourself and stuff like that. But
It probably won't be Lotus, as Lotus.
It's probably not good with that talk.
No, Lotus is not good because they are not a very, like, they're emotional.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a whole bunch of things that they're insecure about.
Yeah.
Because they created their form.
Yeah.
Like, they legitimately created their own human form
from
scratch, and it has what they wanted.
Yeah.
So they would be like, I don't know, talk to like Star or Eliza.
Yeah. I feel like it will be one of the other characters. But then by that point it would have been too late. He would have fully succumbed. And I feel like at that point I don't know how powerful I would make Lotus. Like I said, or Atlas. I feel like he would be powerful. He would be strong, just not insanely strong. Like he's just a Mary Sue all of a sudden. He kicks everyone's ass. Because that's just shit writing. I hate when people do that shit.
Yeah. So here's a limit about Lotus power. Lotus can only put, like, mind you, Lotus is kind of has a little bit of me. And I get really tired quickly. I get pretty tired quickly.
Yeah.
And that's Lotus. Lotus isn't entirely lazy on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just that they can't put too much energy into stuff.
Yeah.
Because they just get tired really quickly.
Yeah.
They just get like tired and are unable
have
the motivation to do things.
Yeah.
And that's mainly their limit is their exhaustion.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the limit where I feel like Atlas will be in Cyber Psychos will drag out the fight with Lotus as long as he possibly can. I feel like he will be more on the offensive. He will be at a hard offensive and just try his hardest to tire you out no matter what. And
I feel like yeah.
I feel like throughout the fight, he you would see his face, and then it would kind of be like, you know, like one of those moments where like
Yeah.
the character sees the person they're fighting's face, and then it cuts back to when they're more innocent and like human. It'll
Yeah.
probably be just like that.
I mean, knowing Lotus, they probably will try.
Yeah.
Not in the Steven Universe way, more of like in the imprisonment way. Like,
Yeah.
they would try and make sure that Atlas does not hurt anyone else, but
Yeah.
they would wish not to kill
Yeah.
Atlas. That is their last
Yeah.
and final option.
Yeah. And I don't know if we do go through the neutral ending and Atlas does die. I'm still debating on who would give the final blow to, because I feel like at the point near the end of the fight, Atlas will probably be severely weakened, because like, oh man, it's weird trying to figure out like a form of like, you could tell he's overpowered, but not in like the David Martinez or Adam Smasher way where it's all cybernetic. Like there's not a single piece of human flesh on his body. It's gonna be a hard design that I will try to do. It's gonna be hard. But I feel like at the point near the end of the fight, Atlas will be broken down and will inevitably either he will stay in cyberpsychosis throughout the entirety of the scene, no matter what, or there will be a small glimpse of Atlas breaking out of it, but will then tell them to kill him because he doesn't want to go through it anymore, and he fears that it won't and he won't get better.
I feel like at that point, if just said, if that is how you're going with it, Lotus will just quickly and very mercifully kill him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, have you ever heard of like in zombie movies how people often, like with the almost affected, they often mercy kill them as a way to put them out of their suffering? That'd be Lotus.
Yeah.
Lotus doesn't view it as killing an enemy. It's more of killing it's more of killing something that it was in pain and just would not live happy alive. It's a very good example.
Yeah. And I think there will be a lot of questions as to how the ending will play out, because like, remember in your lore, how you and Eliza met was through the dead. Essentially, I would assume accidentally letting all the dead out, and essentially Eliza coming out of it. And I feel like people would ask, why couldn't they just grab Atlas? Because people would assume that Atlas is going into the underworld, where death resides. And I feel like they don't do that just out of respect, because it's like
more, obviously. Also, Lotus isn't allowed near the afterlife. Well, they're allowed near death, but it has to be with extreme supervision.
Yeah.
Due to, well, who they are.
Yeah.
Who they are as a person. They are very much so not the best unsupervised.
Yeah. And
I feel like if Atlas had gone to Lotus when they were unsupervised, they'd be like, they would give the worst fucking advice ever.
Yeah.
Because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, this is normal human action.
Yeah. So
I'm human.
Yeah, so I feel like Atlas does go to the to Underworld to death, but I feel like Lotus just doesn't, they don't want to bring him back, because if they do, there's at least a 50-50 chance he will still become cyberpsychotic and will just end up doing it again. So out of respect,
also, it's most likely that Lotus had burned the body anyways.
Yeah.
Just completely.
Yeah, so there would be absolutely nothing. If there would be at least something, it probably wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, it'd most likely not be very good.
Yeah.
But you also have to, and also because Lotus would hate the idea of something taking control of Atlas's body after he had passed. So they would just cremate it, and then he would be like put in, not even in the back, like not even like where everything is hidden. I'd imagine like he would be where he mostly stood, and like, you know, like a glass containment around the area
Yeah.
that's like no one can go here. And people tried to sit there, but Lotus like, hey, you can't sit
Yeah.
there. And they were like,
Reserved.
why? And it's like it's reserved, but the
Yeah.
dude's dead.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
I feel like,
And then so they just put a glass container around it.
yeah. And I feel like in terms of because remember Atlas does have a lot of clothing. He has his jacket, his headphones, his wolf hat, Tyler the Creator wolf hat. It just has a lot of clothing, and I feel like Lotus will probably frame the shirts and the jacket, or at the very least keep it kind of like in a sentimental way.
Yeah, they most likely keep it and just away, but just never touch it.
Yeah.
Just keep it like framed.
Yeah.
In like an area.
Yeah. And I also feel like in terms of I think I've also covered this in the afterlife in Cyberpunk universe. The afterlife is a bar where a lot of legends like Johnny Silverhand and David Martinez, a lot of the drinks are named after them as they are considered legends in Night City. So I feel like it kind of like it's gonna be weird, but I kind of want the characters from the shop to go into the afterlife and then make a drink specifically for Atlas, something that Atlas would actually drink, and then when they want a name, just give it a name. It doesn't even have to be Atlas's name, just a name.
Yeah.
That will be remembered by Atlas.
It's most likely that Lotus would have been the one to be able to get them to that area due to their access to the afterlife and their more of knowledge and the factor that they had a positive interaction with death. By that I mean every single time they worked, it was something related to death. One of them was keeping people away from death. Another one was helping dead animals. This third one was checking to see who is dying, and then the fourth one is keeping the dead in check. All of those jobs are related to death, so it's most likely that death would have just saw Lotus so much that the death is just like, all right, fine, you can bring them in as long as I can have security cameras on so you're not fucking things up.
I honestly, and I feel like back to the ending, I feel like I want the ending scene for Atlas to be kind of like Atlas. So in the Edge Runners anime for Cyberpunk, the way David Martinez is killed, the way they framed it, it was like he's lying face first on the ground, but this face is obviously on the camera, and then just a splatter of blood, telling the viewers that David is dead. I kind of want to do it like that, but in the transition scene, Atlas then wakes up in kind of like a blinding white room. He doesn't have that much recollection of the events because he's dead. And in this blinding white room, he sees in the distance a figure. He then runs to said figure. As he gets closer and closer, he sees Andrew's character, and then they reunite. And let me just say, he doesn't speak. Andrew's character does not speak at all. So it's kind of like a sentimental moment where no words are exchanged, but you know exactly what they're talking about. You know exactly what's happening. And then I just feel like I feel like in a quote from the game is die, or it's kind of like, I can't remember what the one half of the saying is, but the other half is, or die in a blaze of glory. And then it will just be Atlas and Andrew's character pulling out weapons, finding a bunch of Arasaka soldiers, and then just fighting them. And then it will transition into Lotus putting up frames for not only Andrew's character, but for Atlas. And then pan out, done.
Done. Scene.
Scene end. Scene end. But
end of the scene.
Yeah. And I just love the neutral ending way better than any of the other two endings. Because I feel like
it is really good.
Ending A is just so stereotypical, so happy, good. It's just bleh. Just like there's just no repercussions for Atlas's actions. It's like everything's back to normal. And then ending C, it's just like Atlas is just fucked at this point. There's no one going to stop him, essentially.
Yeah.
I think out of all the endings, the neutral ending would be canon, and then the other two would just be like what ifs.
Just non-canon, just kind of like, yeah, they exist, but they're not canon.
There's just what ifs. There's just like what if Atlas.
What if this happens?
What if Atlas does recover, or what if the gang loses to Atlas, essentially?
Yeah, like just what if this happens?
Yeah. But yeah, I do love the neutral ending very much. I just the in between stuff going into it is gonna be a lot harder than I thought because like I have a lot of ideas like Atlas and the group going into different universes based off of popular IPs like Mandela Catalog, My Hero Academia, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be hard to come up with an original story. And that's the problem.
But, that is very much so.
But I just love the beginning and the ending. They're almost I would consider them near perfect because
I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, the best ways to figure out a story is figuring out what you want to happen, the start and the end.
Yes,
and then you can figure out what leads up to it after that. Let's just say because the canon ending is neutral, we end up having ways of, let's just say, I think one of the big things that might, would Atlas saying just Lotus actually trying to do work and, just actually using some of their power, because again,
I feel
overpowered,
like
OP, they're more of still stronger. It's not even like because their powers are incredible. It's because they've had so much knowledge over the years that they make it work for them.
Yeah. And I just feel like in comparison to not just Lotus, but to everyone else who is significantly stronger than him. Because remember, sure, he's taking the Arasaka soldiers, But most of the times Arasaka has sent people to kill him, most of the time he survived based on pure luck. He doesn't have a lot of fighting skills. I'm sure he keeps a gun around him he keeps a gun on him, but honestly most of the encounters he survived or he has with Arasaka is pure luck. So when his luck does run out, he just doesn't want to rely on Elijah and everyone else to have his back. He feels as if he doesn't really do much or doesn't have enough to really put in. So I just feel like it will be a downfall from there. When that will happen will probably be like midway through. Because I feel like it will probably be like your classic mission gone wrong scenario. Essentially. Because I feel like the very first few episodes, probably like episode 4, is when, all the missions are going well, almost little to no problems. Maybe there's a fight here and there, but other than that, that's really about it. Episode 5 is where I feel like the downfall of Atlas will eventually begin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, I do plan on a lot of character development, as for like Lotus, Eliza, Star, and just everyone in general. But I feel like there will be characters that are not going to be as focused on as a lot of others. I feel like Star, I feel like out of everyone, Star's character is going to be the one that's going to be focused the least, because it's more or less just like what is about Star that needs to be changed or needs to grow from.
That is very true.
Because I feel like Star's character is just too much of like what's there to build off of. No offense, but it's more or less just like what can we do to make this character grow as a person as a whole.
I feel like just as a general, I feel like Star's character is a lot more emotionally stable than some of the others.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the characters should have like a lot of negative traits that that as the series does go on, they're able to work out with Atlas himself. But I feel like Atlas will put a lot more into helping his friends than to helping himself. And I feel like that's going to be one of the big reasons why Atlas has a downfall.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's not only insecure about his role in this entire group, but he's tired of helping everyone when he just doesn't have anyone to help him, even though they don't know about his problems.
Yeah, and it doesn't help. Like, let's just say, if Atlas talks to Lotus more, Lotus isn't very emotionally open. Like, they're not very there emotionally because they don't know how to.
Yeah.
That's one of their negative traits, is that they have an inability to really understand human emotions, and that makes it hard for them to actually gauge why someone would be sad.
Yeah.
As they're like, oh, like they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because were never human. They're never a humanoid in general. They may look human.
Yeah.
They may sound human.
But they just aren't human.
They weren't born.
Yeah.
A thing about it's actually funny, although I make a lot of jokes about the ending, like the way Steven Universe does it.
Yeah.
The way like the gems work is very similar to how Lotus is.
Yeah.
They were not born, they were created already knowing their purpose.
Yes.
They already knew what they were supposed to do. They were given to it before they were even created.
Yeah.
They had an entire life already pre-planned out, and they were so used to it
when something deviates from that original plan, they don't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. And even subconsciously, they still do that. They still have a plan and stick to that one singular plan to the point that it's kind of obsessive.
Yeah.
They get very obsessed with doing that one plan,
Yeah. I think it's just weird how Atlas, at the very beginning, Atlas will be seen as more of a prideful character and more or less just someone who's been through a lot but won't show these emotions because he knows that at least at the very start, he can't really trust anyone. Because remember, the one joke that I actually introduced in the pilot was how his interaction with Star was. Star would have accidentally teleported into his universe, and I feel like I still have no idea how they would first interact. But then Atlas will probably point a gun at Star and be like, "You and Arasaka," essentially not trusting anyone, even someone who looks just as outlandish as Star does. He doesn't trust anyone, not even the ones closest to him. And I think throughout the series, I think Atlas's name, like Atlas does have a real name. Atlas is just a code name that he gave to himself to hide from Arasaka so that they don't find out who he really is. I feel like throughout the series, he won't reveal his name to anyone in the shop. He's not gonna reveal it to anyone because it doesn't matter if it's been 1 month, like in 1 second, hour, day, week, month, or hell, a year. He still won't trust anyone. And I feel like those issues, along with his insecurities, will lead to his downfall. And I feel like the neutral ending, he will tell someone in the group his real name and then will die. But I feel like out of respect for him, they won't say what his real name is. It'll just gotta be kept like a mystery. Kind of like how Dipper's name was in Gravity Falls. No one really knew his name until the journals came out. And then his name was Mason.
Like the Mason charts?
Mason and Mabel.
Oh.
Yeah, Mason, Mabel. He kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Okay, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think, if that is true, who do you think he would tell?
That's a difficult thing because, like, I still need to plan out what his relationships throughout the entire series is. I honestly believe at best he would probably tell Star, Elshi, or Lotus, or one of the other characters. I just feel like it's gonna be one of the characters who he has stuck with the longest, known the longest, And while not fully trusting, will at the very least at its final moments reveal that information. I feel
I'm
like
just
I
like
feel
a
like the
little, yeah.
I feel like the character who he does tell his real name to won't tell everyone in the group, but it won't give the audience that answer because, well, it just defeats the mystery.
Yeah.
We don't know who Atlas really is or who he truly is. And I feel like the backstory I've given for Atlas is just enough. It ain't giving him his whole origin story. It's essentially telling a story about a guy who wants to make a difference in the world
Mhm.
and is willing to do anything. And
Yeah.
I just feel like that's how Atlas is as a character. He's just a normal guy who wants to make a difference. He doesn't care about his real own identity as long as he can make a difference his own way. Kind of like how
Mhm.
David Martinez and V from the games tried to make a difference. He does want to make a difference of his own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, it's actually funny, despite the fact that Lotus is the owner, they work at the bar. They generally work at the bar
yeah.
as they don't Star, obviously it's Star
I
has
think I'm gonna
her
have
own job.
I think I'm gonna have Star here to kind of like be like a kind of like a everywhere all at once kind of character. You know, not really
Yeah.
like like necessarily settling down in like one place. They're always bouncing around all over the place, doing
Yeah.
whatever odd jobs they can, but always coming back to the noodle shop.
Yeah.
Essentially,
And then obviously Lotus would not trust Eliza with the drinks given who she is.
yeah,
And then obviously with the other character, they have stuck in the back
yeah.
to,
And then
kind
we
of
also have Kaylin's
not
character
just
as well.
kick down the ego,
Yeah. Then we have Kaylin's character, who
who's
is
the bodyguard.
yeah, and then the other characters get to be a hodgepodge. They usually just hang out there. It's whatever.
Yeah, they just kind of hang out there.
Yeah,
So we have the people who work there and then the others.
yeah, who are just roped into this game somehow. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the main problems with the other characters because they're not really. It's hard to give everyone a role
Yeah.
because Lotus obviously has a role. Elsie, Star, Kaylin's, and my character. But to give everyone else a character and somehow rope them into this whole grand we go on missions type of story is gonna be difficult.
Yeah. I
But
think it's also because our characters are a lot more pre-developed as a
yes,
whole. They already have unique personalities. The noodle shop has existed long before I even knew about this project.
yeah,
Or, it's just kind of been there.
yeah,
And Lotus is a main character. They
yeah,
exist prior to this.
yeah.
Uh yeah.
I also feel like the noodle shop will kind of have like multiple. It's gonna be kind of like a noodle shop slash inn in a way, to where like the characters. I feel like Atlas will stay at the noodle shop, kind of like as a, like an inn place.
I
Uh,
mean, they also live there. So,
yeah,
they kind of, it is an inn.
yeah. So I feel
Because,
like
yeah.
yeah, and I feel like he doesn't want to return to Night City because he knows that if he does, because remember the chase scene that happens before everyone is introduced, our Saga soldiers are right on his ass. It feels like it's about to be the end of him until Star manages to get the wand working, and then they teleport out to Lotus's shop.
Yeah.
He
And
is
then,
afraid
yeah.
that if he does go back, he dies no matter what. That was his last chance. His luck was just about to run out. And he
Yeah.
fears as if he goes back, he does die.
Yeah. And considering how Lotus would probably, introduce him like to the noodle shop, he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Lotus. Welcome to my noodle shop."
Yeah.
And then the most noticeable thing is their eyes.
Yeah.
They're very, very weird eyeballs.
Uh,
And I'm not gonna say that their eyes are like completely normal. Not
yeah.
only that, look, their inside of their mouth is fucking green. Like,
Yeah. He's gonna have the look of confusion, awkwardness, just generally just what is happening, but also being aware of his surroundings and keeping his defenses up just in case something does happen.
Yeah.
I've been messing with this nail clippers for so long. I've been keep on messing with this part right here. It's really getting to my fucking finger. But honestly, I just feel like Atlas. I feel like I also want it in the story where Atlas is destined to die. There's just no going away around it. He is destined to. And I kind of want an overarching character or overarching villain throughout the series, but having an overarching villain throughout the series kind of will imply that ending A might be a possibility. I know I could still have the neutral ending there as well. It's just that when you have an overarching villain, it kind of implies that it will, everyone will band together and then ending A will happen, which I obviously don't want. So I'm still on the fence on having an overarching villain and on not having one entirely.
So I imagine
I kind of want to go in this kind of Gravity Falls, Rick and Morty route, where not every there are like subtle hints here and there that lead to something bigger. Because if you remember, throughout the entirety of Gravity Falls and the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty, there's always this curiosity of what's going to happen, and they also have a connection because if you remember in the season 1 episode 10 of Rick and Morty where Rick and Morty visit the council of Ricks and stuff like that. If you remember, Rick opened a portal and in the portal out came Grunkle Stan's hat, mug, and pen, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a connection to Gravity Falls. I kind of just want this overarching mystery where it won't be solved until the very end where all the pieces come together in some way. Oh man, I have so many ideas. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be definitely interesting.
It's gonna be an interesting experience to not only write but voice act and have animated, because it's just having your ideas planned out and actually happen. It's gonna be surreal. It really will be.
It's gonna be awesome. Dude.
Yeah, I just need animators and I can't find any. I preferably will want hand-drawn animators because they do the best work.
They really do.
Yeah. And I feel like for the ending touch for the story, obviously we have everything put together, stuff like that. I think in order for it to... I feel like in order for it to be fully closed, the group will go to the universes that Atlas has pretty much put into a stomping ground to, and try to fix the wrongs he has committed. It will probably be a long journey, but they're going to try to fix the wrongs he's caused, essentially.
Most probably.
Yeah, and then I feel like that's how it will end. And maybe at some point, I mean, hell, if there will even be... I generally do not like any spinoffs, and I feel like this series would not have any spinoffs at all.
Yeah.
And I also wanted a season 0, which essentially is going to be an origin where each episode is everyone's origin story, essentially. I feel like Atlas won't have an origin story or won't have an episode in season 0. You know what you know when his origin story will be? Season 1, episode 1. That's it. Everyone else will have their own separate episode detailing who these characters are and their past. Atlas's story is starting when he became Atlas. And that is pretty much it.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So that means the animators would have to go through the pain of, they can actually just keep a simple design of Lotus, because I do not imagine they go around walking with fucking 4 arms.
Yeah.
Because that'd be an animator's nightmare, because Lotus has 12 wings around that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my god.
Lotus is a drawing nightmare.
Yeah, it's gonna be an absolute...
and not only that, you also have to take into consideration their markings. Their markings that they have that is a part of them.
Yeah.
That is a but like, mind you, I struggle with the markings.
Yeah.
And like, if I struggle with the markings, imagine the poor
Oh
fucking
my
animator.
god.
I mean, to be honest, let's just say, let's have Lotus just be in this form, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
that was
just more
the
of a human form, because, well, they would not be, and then
yeah.
it'd be easier for the animators to
Yeah.
just kind of like, not be a nightmare for them, because
Oh yeah.
Lotus is
Yeah.
very
Yeah. A very complex character, if you would say.
Lotus is a very complex character.
Yeah.
Not even like It's not even like complex in a way that's like, oh yeah, this character is so
Yeah.
complicated. It's complex in a simple way.
Yeah.
And that's what's worse, is that it's so simple, it's complicated.
Yeah. I also I also do feel like this series will be kind of compared to Hell of a Boss and Hazbin Hotel a lot. More so Hell of a Boss, because the way we're going about this series, well, it does have some draws from Hell of a Boss, but I do have a little bit of a difference with how the characters are going to be done compared to Hell of a Boss. So if you remember, I believe Vizzy put out a tweet a response to like all the backlash that third episode of season 2 got. So essentially it was about like, oh man, why aren't the female characters getting as much attention as the male characters? Essentially their response was that was the plan all this time. They wanted Hazbin Hotel to be more about the female characters, and and Hell of a Boss be more about the male characters, which I think is fucking stupid. If you're gonna if you're gonna introduce a group of characters, please, for the love of God, balance them out so that one character does, or one group of characters don't feel as left out or as unimportant as the rest. So I feel like each character in the series will get their own unique episode and their unique arc to go through, even if some characters will probably stay the same. Like Star.
Yeah, like Star's character would probably stay the same.
Yeah.
She's still getting an episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And also I feel like for Atlas to diving into cyberpsychosis, I feel like it won't happen like right away. Like it hits all at once. I feel like in one episode there will be kind of like this emotional, dramatic, not fallout, but a huge argument with the characters and Atlas. And then when Atlas is completely in stress with all those cybernetic enhancements going into his brain and pretty much just fucking with him, he does dive into cyberpsychosis, goes on a violent rampage, and then they just knock him out of his. And then the characters will knock him out into cyberpsychosis and will be scared of him because they never seen it before in their lives. They never see someone as brutal as what Atlas did. And so I feel like there will be kind of like the rest of the series will kind of be dealing how to help Atlas deal with cyberpsychosis, but I feel like still Atlas will still have his downfall regardless. Because it's gonna be a weird thing to do. I'll probably scrap that idea entirely. But I do want the characters to know that he does have cyberpsychosis, whether it will be all at once or gradually throughout the series.
It might, although all at once would be very quick, gradually would put that suspense.
Yeah.
Although Lotus will be afraid. They've been through the French Revolution. They've seen people cut off heads.
Yeah.
Like they've been through some intense fucking shit. I think it would be more worse because they've seen it over centuries.
Yeah.
Not in a day. Where this dude just just had a breakdown and just started murdering people. And Lotus would be like, "You good?"
Yeah, I just feel like he want Atlas to want. And I feel like Atlas going into cyberpsychosis and succumbing to it, he would have kind of like this Joker-esque laugh where you would know he's going insane.
If Lotus sees that, they would be like,
"Yeah."
What?
They will be
laughing?
They will be shocked. Like I feel like it will be portrayed as kind of like this panic attack-y moment where Atlas is breathing, trying to keep it under control. Because I feel like once he realizes he does have cyberpsychosis, he doesn't want to tell everyone. They don't want him to worry. He does the worrying, they don't. And so once he couldn't control it, and once he does slip into that madness, they're afraid of him. Because, yeah, Lotus may have seen that over centuries, but in a few minutes, with just one fucking guy, I wouldn't imagine they would take it that well.
I mean, to be honest, if Lotus is the person to see the thing, they'd be extremely worried.
Yeah.
It would be hard to tell due to their very limited facial expression. Yeah. Imagine Shinobu's facial expression from Demon Slayer. That's how they are. They always smile because they don't know how to they don't know how to express emotions.
Yeah.
And when they're incredibly worried about Atlas, they sound like they can't entirely like function in the way that they normally do. Yeah. They would be like, are you okay?
Yeah.
What's happening?
And then
why?
And then she's like, well, why are you laughing? Just fucking chill out, man. Calm down, man. Calm down. And then he just fucking snaps and just starts killing and killing. And then I'm gonna try to see how he would break out of it. Whether I feel like a way to do it is that he is knocked out. Like he is out cold. Like someone hits him like a fucking like a rock or something and just out for the count. I feel like that's I think that's what would happen. Like he is knocked out, and then he wakes up in the shop, and then he's kind of I don't want him tied up to like a chair or anything like that, but everyone is surrounding him, just like wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah. And then Lotus, I feel like, would most likely not entirely be there, especially if they had seen it. They would be researching about what is happening. They'd be like, okay, heavy breathing. Is he pregnant?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I feel like Lotus would probably ask Star, because I think Star would have a much better knowledge of Night City and how it works and how cybernetic enhancements work.
Like, I feel like Star would be the second person to know about it. Just like, hey, he just started going back, like, weird, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Is he pregnant?
And then it's just like, he's a guy, first of all. So, no, that's not possible. And secondly, and then we'll go into what cyberpsychosis is and how she thinks that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
I feel like it won't be known to the viewer, because I won't frame it as him diving into cyberpsychosis. I would view it as the years that Arasaka has fucked with them, to the point where you could say it's just a buildup of a lot of trauma and stress, but not cyberpsychosis. And then but the show will be balancing this out. Like, is it really cyberpsychosis, or was it just a one thing? Was it just a one-time thing? But they won't know until Atlas fully succumbs. And I feel like that's what might happen.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest. When I made that joke, of course I was joking.
Yeah.
They would generally believe it. Was pregnancy. Because they don't know about humans. They don't know about the human body.
Yeah.
They'd be like, dude, like, yeah, he like had a mental breakdown. Is he pregnant? And they would go on Google and be like, can males get pregnant? and then just go down this rabbit hole of what the fuck?
Yeah, just
can males is my friend is panicking.
Yeah.
Is he pregnant?
Friend heavy breathing. Friend went on psychotic rampage. Is pregnant? Is he?
Is pregnant? No.
I feel like Lotus will probably. I feel like Lotus will spell it out. You know how one of those like AI generated like news articles where it's just misspellings and fucked up wording all over the place. I feel like that's how Lotus will fucking spell it. It's like
Yeah,
it's like that one famous one who's like the
yeah,
rumor come out, does Bruno Mars is gay? It just types out exactly like that.
yeah. Like it'd be like, it would be like friend went into like psychotic breakdown. Is pregnant?
Just like question mark. And then
Is
just
pregnant?
and then
Question mark.
and then enter.
They wouldn't put a question mark. They would write out question marks. They'd be like,
I have no
the
idea.
entire thing is friend went into psychotic friend went psychotic murder spree, is pregnant, question mark, is pregnant.
Oh my god, it would have been fucking hilarious. And
I'm gonna be honest, I want it like a not a spin-off, but like a YouTube thing of like the not serious moments that was
yeah,
like that. So it's like friend went to
it's gonna be
psychotic
like one of those.
murderous breakup.
It's gonna be like one of those out of context channels, where it's like you don't know what the fucking context is, but you feel like you've seen enough to know what the context really is.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of like the new Clone High reboot,
Yeah.
where Lincoln was just like, "Hey, want to see my lighthouse impression?" And the other kid's just like, "No, bye." And then Lincoln's like, and it's like, brrr. So fucking funny. Yeah, if you see the clip, oh my god, it was so funny.
I have.
It's
And,
like,
I just love the idea of Lotus being horrible at spelling
yeah,
because of the factor that like they've technically been on Earth for it would technically coming up to the noodle shop, it would have been maybe almost 2 years,
yeah,
maybe less, like
yeah,
maybe a year
yeah,
or most,
yeah,
because they have a very lack of understanding of humans due
yeah.
to their lack of connection of humans, and the only ones that they have, they would be like they'd be like old people, and Atlas is not an old person.
He is very young, a very young
And then
guy.
Lotus would be like, do you want a Snickers bar? I heard in the commercials that you're not you when you're hungry.
And then he's just like, "No, I'm good, thanks." And I also
Then what am I supposed to do with 15 Snicker bars?
what?
Thinking that it would cure, like they would.
I feel like,
thinking that it would cure Atlas of his
and
problem.
I feel like Atlas would eat them still. Just feeling bad for the fact that you bought so many Snickers bars.
They'd be like, oh, Snickers does not make you feel better. But the ad said you are not you when you're hungry.
Just a complete
Under-
just no idea what the fuck they're doing, but they're helping. You know, and I also feel like when Atlas does go into cyberpsychosis, I kind of want it in order for it to be kind of like the suspense. Oh, what happens to Atlas? Did he fully succumb or something like that? I wanted the scene to be like there was a struggle. Like it was more or less, it wouldn't seem like Atlas was fighting himself. It's more or less like someone attacked Atlas somehow, and then they just try to follow where the carnage went, and then boom, big reveal. It was Atlas this entire time.
Yeah,
because I think that will sell the immersion greatly. Just not knowing if it was an enemy who infiltrated the shop just to kill him, or if it was just Atlas himself diving into the path of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point, Lotus would be like I feel like leading up to the event, Lotus will try and help any way that they can.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like Atlas would be realizing that they aren't trying to help in any way.
Yeah.
Due to their not knowing how to help in general. Like with the Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Like just, oh, would you like a Snickers bar? Yeah. The strange man on my on the metal screen told me that people are not them when they are hungry.
I feel like
their Snickers bar.
I feel like the journey to getting to Atlas, to finding Atlas, It would be like the other characters asking what's happening, what's going on, and then Lotus in the background just handing out Snickers bars to everyone.
Oh my god, that would
Just
be true.
in the background, just like here. Ah!
You are not you when you are hungry.
Yeah.
I only
And
bought 50 and all of them were for Atlas.
and
What am I supposed to do?
And I feel like the animation of you handing out this bars, will, you know, like in anime, they just do like this very still animation where they're moving in like a very, they're still moving, but in like kind of like very still at the same time, like a pose.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the animation we're gonna go with for for them. It's like just snapping to different poses randomly.
That's just like have a Snickers bar. Oh, your your lower body was cut off.
Yeah.
Have a Snickers bar. They would say it in that exact voice. Oh, your lower body was cut off.
Yeah.
Have a Snickers bar.
Yeah. Oh,
you're not God. You when you're hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what would happen. It's just the journey to Atlas, and I feel like the final place they would be at to find him would be Night City. It would probably make the most sense.
Yeah.
Either I'm still debating on if it would be in Night City. Would it be kind of like a David Martinez versus Adam Smasher moment where it's live on TV, everyone will see it, or more or less just kind of like an incident that no one would know who was involved, essentially. But I feel like in accordance to Atlas worshipping and idolizing David Martinez, we'll probably go with the former, as that's how David died. David died in a blaze of glory, and I feel like Atlas will probably be the same way.
Yeah.
So I do want the ending to kind of be like this Cyberpunk Edge Runners moment, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But still be an ending where no one is truly happy, but no one is truly sad for anyone either. They're just happy that it happened and they move on.
Yeah, oh well, this happened, but I'm not devastated.
Yeah, it does suck that a great friend of mine has gone down this path, but I can't. It's already happened. There's nothing I can do to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just leaves on a very somber tone. Just ends.
Although I can't 100% say that if Lotus does cry, they will not know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, they will feel a wetness dripping down their face. Will touch it, and it's just like, what is this?
Why is water leaking from my eye sockets?
Yeah,
they would say that exact phrase.
Yeah,
eye sockets.
Yeah, and then it's just like, and then that's what I feel like Lotus would probably do, because, like you said, they don't handle emotions all that well. In fact, I doubt they feel anything at all.
Well, they feel a certainty, given the factor that they are in a human disguise.
Yeah,
they don't feel emotion like how other people do. They feel it in a way that's like, it's hard to digest for them. And then once I imagine later on, while interacting with Atlas, who is very human, they would start developing those humanoid traits, but won't realize what is happening and be like, I feel like Lotus would go to Atlas a lot, not even for worries, just like, hey, for some reason, I suddenly feel like eating a pickle. Why do I feel like eating a pickle? And it'd be for the dumbest of reasons.
Yeah.
But it's for most people it would be stupid, but for Lotus, those are genuine concerns. They're like, why do I want to eat a pickle?
Yeah.
I do not like pickles.
Yeah.
Am I pregnant? Their lead cause of everything is pregnancy.
Yeah. It will be a somber moment. I will see to that. I think I think we're gonna leave it off here because it's getting pretty late, and I feel like I'm gonna call out work tomorrow. All right, and just to let you know, I've been recording for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
God damn.
Yep. All right,
at least we have good ass content.
Yeah, fuck it. We went over pretty much everything.